Oh my god, more Cyberpunk. I'm not wearing glasses yet. Okay, we'll get those on in a second. Um, this is Series 2, Part 2, entitled 7-10 Split. And those of you who know about bowling, you would know 7-10 Split is when you have two pins left. It's crazy. 2-2-2. That doesn't matter. I might be coughing still. I might be kind of hacking it up. I think it's on the out, though, so we should be fine soon. Um, that said, um, this group is going to be tethered into a job pretty kind of hastily. The job is very simple, but it is from a new fixer in town who will be discussed momentarily. Since this is the first time that everyone here has played in Series 2, we're going to go through a quick description of just yourself, general introduction, and then a bit about your character. And we'll just migrate through people in rotation based on what I see on my screen. So, Jonah, you'll be first. Tell us about yourself, and then tell us about Crown.
Hi, I'm Jonah. I'm a guy. I do the stuff, and I play the games. It role play. D&D.
Good job, Jonah.
Okay. And tell us about Crown, because obviously that had nothing to do with him.
I got nervous. You put me on the spot. I'm sorry.
You did great, and it was adorable. So double success.
Kai is he's just a normal guy. Doesn't have any cyberware, so he's just a normal fleshy human running around doing soldier stuff. He's pretty chill.
Since that was horrible.
I know. I'm sorry.
I want to give you a bit more credit than you just gave yourself. Yeah, he's a fleshy guy, but he adheres to the Morgan Blackhand mentality of solo. It's not about what gear you have; it's about the skill that you have. Now describe him a bit better.
Yes, he's so cool. Oh God, you don't even know.
He's the coolest.
So cool.
All right, I'll go ahead and move on.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
To focus on the coolness of how cool he is, in last night's session, he got bonked in the head by Maelstrom priests and knocked unconscious and failed his charge and got fired from his job. Okay. You okay, buddy? Ew, no.
I thought you were talking to Jonah when you said that.
No, my cat just pooped.
I think that answer is no. But we already knew that.
Shiro ate more than he should have.
Aww, greedy little
Hey,
baby.
No, he threw up. Wet food and dry food combo. It's gross. But luckily he did it right into his sleeping blanket. Off of horrible topics, on to better topics. Let's go ahead and move to the next person. That'd be Elizabeth. Short introduction about yourself and then your character.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm usually in the chat and playing Fridays. That's me. Rem is a media. She is a hard-working lady, recording brain dances for money and kicking ass.
100% accurate.
Yep.
She is the recorder of the hit Brain Dance Legless, which, by the way, for your records, go ahead and notate this. Your current payout on the returns for Legless is 1,200 eddies. So go ahead and put that on your sheet. So that's over the last week for the sales that were put forward by Hungry and his Brain Dance editors. Okay.
There you
go. On to the next bit. Lark, go ahead and tell us about your character, Cryptid. And yourself, of course.
Hi, I am Lark playing Cryptid. Cryptid is your friendly neighborhood domestic terrorist. She once upon a time was a journalist, and through a series of most unfortunate events, slowly lost her will to live in a capitalist nightmare that is Night City. However, she did not lose her will for revenge. She is on a mission to take down and expose all of the corporations and their shenanigans and politics that are corrupt. She records everything she comes across. She kills a lot of things she comes across. She lives in a van. She also has a lot of PTSD.
So let's focus up on the current arc of Cryptid Story. We kind of mentioned a little bit about it last series. She is focusing in a bit more on cyber psychos. And the main reason for that is because there have been leads that corporations are... It's not so much that cyber psychosis is a fake... Get out of the way! Is a fake circumstance. It is very real. But it's believed by Cryptid that corporations have the ability to switch it on. And so she's trying to get as much information as she can regarding that to basically expose it and put it forward to the public.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does she live in a van down by the river?
Well, the van will
Sometimes.
be moved down by the bay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are no rivers in Night City. There's canals.
Unless you count the tunnels, I guess. They're like rivers with dry.
No, those would be called tunnels. Still, I think. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to ask you the question I ask you every time, and this one is very important. I want to make sure you are aware. You would know the crew that you're kind of dealing with. You would know some of the names, and you would know that the names that you have and know do not have vehicles. So my question is to you, are you coming in on your bike, or are you bringing the van?
I don't like to put the van at risk, but I guess we're going with the van.
You're the nomad this time. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up is Kristen. Kristen, tell us about yourself, and then, of course, your character. Your character being Bunny Hall.
Well, I'm playing Cyberpunk with you guys. I've been doing that for a couple months now. It's been a while since I've last played. Before then, having fun with this new character, Bunny Doll, who's a med tech. She has been in kind of the medical fields, gained interest when she was a child, and now kind of her kind of reason for doing things is that her lover was tortured and dropped into cyberpsychosis. So she's kind of looking for a way to find a cure, and she is not a doctor.
See how those plot lines link up?
She got that PhD though, right? She got the med degree. She's
Right.
a doctor.
Not a medical doctor like the last time I was here.
Well,
She's a doctor, not that kind of doctor.
she is one of a few med techs that actually has a clinic of their own. However, I believe she is one of the med techs that, again, the majority of you med techs don't have medical, like hospital access. I think Red Tail is like the main guy. Like,
She's wearing a
Good.
She's wearing a red cross on her sleeve. She's a
Again,
doctor.
No, she's wearing the red cross so people don't shoot at her. She's not an idiot.
Doctor.
She's not an idiot. Like, oh, I've got a medical bag. And also other signs that make me look like someone you don't want to shoot. Focusing
Exactly.
up. Kimmy, welcome, and also tell us about your character and yourself, of course.
My name is Kimmy. I am playing Gem, living out my Gem and the Holograms life. You know, it's my favorite cartoon. Yeah. She's a rocker girl, and she's part of the Moxes. So when it comes to her girls, you know, they're first before other things. And she was totally there when a leg was lost. Was I in the footage? Do I get a cut?
Oh, yeah, you're in the footage, but there's no
Oh yeah,
cut.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Aw.
I don't think that's how Rem swings. Like, it's very much I did the work and, having my leg removed.
Yeah.
Well,
They're not like, oh wow, peep that, it's Jem. She's actually kind of famous. It's more of a, holy shit, I can feel how it feels to have my leg cut off. That's radical.
oh,
If
watch
you were the
those series,
focus,
it's really
maybe.
good.
This wasn't the focus.
Not this time.
And to note something important here for you, Kimmy, you
Mhm.
are a roommate with a lot of other player characters,
Mhm.
but also an NPC named Amelia. Chandler, before we get to you and describe your character, you would know Amelia. Amelia is a member of the Mox, which are a gang that are kind of focused in Watson, specifically north side of Kabuki. So kind of like right on your borderlands. And they are rivals to the Tiger Claws. They kind of focus on specifically the bar, Lizzie's Bar, and
Mhm.
their story is very much one of like protecting people who are kind of downtrodden, such as like Joy Toys, brain dance, reporters, um, working individual sex workers is what I mean by that statement, and the like.
Mhm.
So Amelia, you would know. And I mention Amelia, Kimmy, because you know that Amelia is currently looking for a member of the Maelstrom gang named Nitro. A woman named Nitro who is a part of the Maelstrom gang. Since you're going to be in Maelstrom territory, you're going to probably kind of like keep an eye out, keep an ear to the ground. Whether or not that's going to come up or not is yet to be determined, but I just want to make sure that that is on the list of notes for the session. That said, last but certainly not least, and absolutely the one I was waiting for the most here, because we finally have another job creator. Chandler, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us about Hatter.
Hey, so I'm Chandler. I like playing Cyberpunk. My last character lived for way too long and got away with way too much stuff, which is why I decided to make a new character and let John kill him. Because Bucket got away with murder multiple times. But for Hatter, he's a fixer. He's kind of scummy. That's kind of the goal of him. Kind of in direct disposition to the rest of the party. He doesn't really care to save people if he doesn't have to. His main goal is to sell parts. He works with the Maelstrom, and they need a lot of cyber, and a lot of cyber often. So the best way to get that is dead bodies. So that's the goal.
I think Hatter is the first character we've had who's actually going to be someone who's willing to talk to scavs instead of just outright brutalizing them and murdering them, which in my opinion is the correct process. But again, they also can elucidate a bit of wealth. Okay, so with that being said, Crown, you go through your contacts and you are looking for someone who would be an information broker or someone with details on Maelstrom activities, since these three cloaked figures that absconded with Charlotte and kind of caused you your problem in your gig yesterday. That's an issue, and you need to learn as much as you can about that. You get the contact information for Hatter, a fixer in Northside, and when you contact him, he basically sets up a meet with you to meet him at the docks on the north side. There's a marketplace on the docks, and he wants to meet you there. While that is happening, Hatter, you are also planning the job that we discussed on the side. And so you contact Amelia, get a hold of Jem's contact information, get a hold of Bunny Doll's information, and get a hold of Rem's information. And I believe Amelia has met Cryptid and is in contact with Cryptid through Hungry at the very first session that Cryptid was on. Or maybe the second one. When you met Hungry.
Correct.
So that information
first one.
would have been relayed through Amelia to Hatter to contact Cryptid at the phone that you basically have passed out your disposable for fixer contacts.
Yep.
And you would basically be sent down to the same way. So you'd be meeting at the docks, and I'm going to just give you an idea of what it looks like on the outside. But then when it comes to the interior, I'm going to leave that to Chandler's imagination to describe like his nook, his part of what I describe here. So the dockside market on the north side is basically just a bunch of small little. It's really just a bunch of like tiny little shops, buildings that have been kind of makeshift put together. There are open air kind of style market booths that are out in this space, and they sell everything from scop to like some pretty decent equipment for day to day life, be it weaponry, gear, tech, etc. A lot of stuff moves through here. It is technically Maelstrom protected, but not Maelstrom controlled. They do not run the market, and there is no actual like overarching person that runs the market, because the person that used to, Arthur Cormack, was brutally murdered by Dakota Smith in a kind of fixer rivalry back in 2077. Now, Hatter, whether or not you are making moves on the market to try and kind of effectuate a position of like control is entirely up to you. But where inside of this market that kind of very limitedly seen, use your imagination at your to the best of your ability, where would Hatter's kind of position in this space be?
If we're talking about like a setup for himself, it would be as far back into a corner as possible, just to keep it nice and quiet. He likes to do business as privately as possible and with at least amount of interactions as needed. More people, more bodies is an issue sometimes. You would see that he would just have like a very nice table, as nice as you could get over here. And a couple of, at least one surgical table and one seamstress table, just to have his own little happy space set up with a couple chairs. Again, he never expects more than 1 or 2 people for a meeting, so there's not whole couches or anything of that nature waiting around.
Okay. So some people are going to be standing once they start kind of filing in. And since you told them all to meet at about the same time, I'm going to ask the group, are you punctual? Or are you tardy? Or are you early? Like, what of those would you be? I'll go ahead and go through the racket again. Crown, for Jonah, where would you be at on the temporal
He's
scale?
early.
He's early.
He's
Okay.
always early, yeah.
And then Elizabeth, where would Rem be?
Probably on time, as long as the public transportation is on track.
Yeah, it's Night City. It typically is. Not many people fuck with it. This isn't like it's the time of the red. We're not blowing them up to do a gig. Kristen, where would Bunny Doll be on the time schedule?
Bunny Doll tries to be early, but will be there a few minutes late.
Probably.
She often gets caught up in stuff.
Took a bus instead of the train, because the train actually does run right into the marketplace. There's an end cart station that drops off right here, but yeah, it probably ended up being the case that she wasn't aware of that, and she's not familiar with the north side and wants in. That's cool. And then Lark, you're driving on a van. Are you trying to arrive right on time?
I mean, I would try to arrive early, but chances are I stopped for a cheeseburger.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to have you make a
So,
drive land vehicles check,
Okay.
because it's not so much a case of whether or not you get into the area on time. It's about whether you're able to find parking.
Yeah. That's land vehicles.
Okay. So you kind of see the situation. It looks like there's open parking on like the side of the drive, and you pull up and you stop there. You see a beat cop, an NCPD beat cop, walk over to you and like tap on your window with his nightstick. You roll your window down.
Yeah, just enough though.
He says, "Hey, can't park here. I got to keep the lane clear. Large trucks roll through here." He kind of points with his nightstick over kind of in the direction of the north side, or a bit north of where you're at. Go park over there.
Okay.
All right. If you don't have any problems with him and you do not try to do anything there with him, you go and you park, and you will arrive about 10 minutes late. due to the parking situation not being terribly close. And then Kimmy, public transportation probably, or if you want, you can say, again, you can use NPCs or player characters who are not here for small and minor things. If you want to be dropped off by Vix, she's tired from the night before, but she'd probably run you out this early and drop you off if you wanted.
Yeah, I don't think I would prefer public transportation. Too many fans, you know.
Okay.
Too many publics.
She would say, I'm going to go sleep. Hopefully you don't need anything. And yeah, she's kind of battered from last night, so she's going to head back home. The whole time she's wearing like a very uncharacteristic heart-shaped like dark sunglasses that she's never really worn around you because it's a bright-ass fucking day in the middle of January. A bright-ass morning even, because you guys are arriving here around 10 a.m. So you all enter into the office. Based on the description by Chandler, probably only a couple of you are going to be able to sit. And since Jonah, you arrived, Crown arrived early, do you want to take a seat or do you kind of leave them open?
I'll take a seat.
Okay. Hatter, you have him early. If you want to talk to him specifically prior to the others arriving.
Yeah, I would. I would just say I know you came here for a specific reason. Can you give me any more information on why you need me and my group for help?
Hey, good day. Well, I got fired from my job, and I was wondering if you had any openings. And I want to kill all the Maelstrom. Because they got me good, and that was real shitty of them.
I'm okay with one conflict of interest. But I do have a job. I do have a job that other people should be arriving for here shortly, hopefully, so that we can get it rolling. It's gonna involve getting some pieces back for one of those people you hate so much. But for the time being, you're just gonna have to learn to live with them.
Yeah, alright, I could do that.
Anything for money, right?
Yeah.
The on-timers would arrive at this point. Do you respond in any way, Crown, when I believe that would have been Gem and Rem. Those two are arriving.
He just says, good day.
Hey.
You stay seated is, I guess, the question I'm asking.
Yeah, please.
Alright. I would like for Chandler and Jonah both to roll a d10. And let me know if you get a 6 or less.
7.
Okay.
Been a while since I've done this.
Alright, so neither of you recognize Gem for her rocker status. She's actually a bit street famous. Quite a bit street famous. But neither of you kind of know of her from her work. Hatter, you have information on her, but it's not like you know her. This is more kind of like, what you've been able to surveil in library searches and through information contacts. That's it. They arrive. There's one seat remaining.
Oh, I don't want to sit. I want to sit on the table.
Okay, she sits right on your table, Hatter.
I would denote that for later. And I would say, well, now that we've all arrived, why don't we get down to why we're all here?
Is this all of us?
Is it?
She'll look at the other two.
There's 2 people that are running late.
Oh, do people running late count? They'll get the information when they get here.
That's fair.
I would very quickly run down just so they had the basics. So once the 2 others came, we would just have a very brief explanation. In the long and short of it, we are hunting down a couple pieces of cyberware. This job pays pretty well. I pay up front, and I pay extra on completion. We're just going after a cyber deck and just a Zetatech branded converter, adrenaline converter. It's a pretty simple job. Shouldn't be too hard. Shouldn't be too difficult. But I don't like getting my hands dirty myself. So I'm happy to pay you all to help me do this. And then I would just wait around for the next people.
Yeah. So Bunny Doll and Cryptid would arrive pretty close to the same time, and you two work together. So you kind of spot each other as you're kind of making your way into the market, and then together kind of like buddy up and kind of go in. If you'd like to talk about anything before you go in, you're free to do so. If not, you make it right to the office on time or on your time. Okay, so you arrive.
I like.
Oh, sorry, I was talking and I was muted.
That'll do it. Go ahead, say exactly what you said, but again, but faster and.
Hey, doctor! Long time no see. How's that guy doing with the bullet I put in his head?
Is this directed to me?
Yeah, you're the doctor.
Yeah. Remember?
I mean, I've seen lots of people with bullets in their heads. You have to be more specific.
You know, the one on the bridge that cut off, what was her name? The other, the adrenaline junkie girl, they cut off her leg. Remember that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. So how did he pull through?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Fantastic. All right, let's get our asses in there. You want a cheeseburger?
Yes.
There are Scott burgers for sale in the marketplace. If you don't already have one in your pocket.
I stopped for Hungries.
Oh, right. You have a bag, hungry food truck. And then you two enter in. There's Rem, the leg cut off lady you were just talking about.
Speak of the devil.
Who might have been able to hear her with being a media.
No, it's loud as fuck out there.
Oh, okay.
See her and
she does have two legs.
Ram and Jim. Hey, pendejas! Long time no. Wow, we got the whole crew together. Who are these people?
Who are these guys?
What are they doing here?
I don't know, just met this one.
Hey, I'm joking. Hey, I'm Cryptid. You called?
Saying I called is a bit of a stretch, but we have a job to do today. I've briefed the others, and you two will get the rundown. We're just going after 2 pieces of cyberware. They were taken from a good friend of mine, is what we'll call him, and we need to get them back. I pay up front. I pay for completion. Any questions?
Do you need them dead, alive, both?
I need the pieces back. I need a net driver, a NetWatch internal cyber deck, and then I need an adrenaline converter. It's a Zetatech brand. I don't care what has to happen to the people who have them. I need them back.
Meat.
Yep.
Got it.
We'll get along just fine if you keep thinking like that.
Okay.
Works for me.
I'm about to say. And then I would pay them genuinely up front. The percentage we talked about, just to disperse it immediately.
So that would be hold on, I'm bad at math. Why would you make me do the math?
Because it's funny.
So it's 7,500 divided by 5. 1,500 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Wow.
Which again, for you guys, is
Money.
pretty big money. It's probably the most.
Yeah.
And you've worked for Militech, some of you.
And as I said, upon completion, 10% more. You get just a little bit more off the top, just so everyone is happy, content, and willing to work again. But that would be the whole spiel. None of them had worked with me in the past, so they wouldn't know the other part of the deal, but it's fine.
So, where are we going?
It's a
Did
good
you
fucking
tell me?
question.
I've got the details
Who's
if you
the,
want me to drop them.
Yeah.
I was like,
who's
yeah,
the
if you just
gonk?
want to drop them instead of me reading this paragraph, I will also read it.
Sure.
Is it a single gonk? Is it 3 gonks? What are we looking for?
If you want to go for it, go for it.
Okay. So long story short, a guy that works for Ario Meat Wagon snatched a piece of cyberware off a Maelstrom ganger that I know, and I know they want it back, and they're willing to pay me for it. So, I got you all here. I got everyone ready and going. We found him at this bowling alley. I needed shooters. I need people who are okay killing people. Again, just don't damage my cyberware. But it's only one guy to my knowledge. And that's about it. I know some of you don't get along with Maelstromers, as we've already talked about, and I would look over at Crown. But again, hopefully money persuades all.
When you pull up your data tab, you would be able to show them a picture of the REO Meat Wagon employee that you're kind of, clept the cyberware from your Maelstrom ganger. The individual in question, when you see the picture, Crown will be someone you recognize. The individual is a man named John. Nope, that's not him. Named
John?
Jerry BM Matthews, who you recognize as being one of the EMTs that helped you way back when you were working under Letty and protecting Dolly Glass.
I'm gonna keep that secret.
Yeah, no worries. But again, you do recognize it. Hatter, I'm going to give you a human perception roll.
Fun.
It is a high DV on this one, but again, I am assuming, Jonah, there is going to be kind of a very small, but perhaps potentially noticeable change in like but he doesn't notice. Okay. Cool. I don't know if anyone else has fucked around with REO Meat Wagon yet. So cool. Connections have not been clicked. It's just session 2, John. Chill. The items in question that are denoted, none of you are net runners, so you have no idea what the fuck a Netwatch net driver is. However, Cryptid...
We can do a library search.
Cryptid,
Yeah.
you are a person who understands what the term Netwatch means. The term net driver doesn't matter. Corporations make things, and typically they put their branding in front of it. When NCPD makes something, it's an NCPD, whatever it is. And Netwatch is a company, or not a company. Netwatch is an organization that polices the entirety of the nets, the subnets, and net architectures in the world. So a Netwatch anything means it was built for purpose, and it is basically like the CIA kind of the internet. So whatever that is, it's important. And then Rem,
they're my arch nemesis.
An adrenaline converter is a mildly expensive piece of cyberware that basically boosts someone's adrenaline on command. It's not like a piece of speedware, which will like change your neural chemistry to make you kind of like react quicker and actuate to the world faster. An adrenaline booster is just what it says on the tin. It is going to basically fill you with the chemicals that make you, fight or flight in a very heavy fashion.
Supercharger versus a turbocharger.
Correct.
John, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, fire away.
Brawling attacks count as light melee?
No.
Okay.
Brawling's different.
Yeah, brawling's
Gotcha.
brawling. Brawling doesn't cut through armor like martial arts or melee weapons do.
Gotcha.
You want to punch soft targets, brawling. Okay. And then you explained that you had your informants had locked him in at a bowling alley. It was a piece of information that was kind of thrown out there. I'm going to give the details here. That
Genuinely shocked.
Yeah.
That bowling alley still exists.
Now, again, you gotta have affection, for the ways of the past. The bowling alley in question is in Charter Hill, which, for those of you who have been playing for quite a while, would know Charter Hill is basically the hoity-toity rich neighborhood, in Westbrook. It's located around these area. I'm gonna snap ping us to that area. And somewhere in there, which again I haven't put a ping down for where it's located, not too far away from Ario Meatwagon, as you might note, there is a apartment building, and at the base of that apartment building is a bowling alley called Bowling Hill. A lot of the businesses in Charter Hill typically have hill or hills in their name. Unoriginal rich fucks.
Makes sense.
Okay, so as far as transportation goes, several of you have N-cart passes, several of you know how the bus systems work, but Cryptid brought the van.
Oh, damn.
I did.
Shotgun.
Alright, that means you're in charge of the music.
As mentioned several times.
Because I sure as hell am not.
As mentioned several times before, when you get onto the passenger side there, you would see that on the dash, kind of up in front of you, are effigies that look like they're small chibi, like handmade chibi dolls of some people you may recognize, but again, very hard to kind of denote exactly who's who and what's what. But very strange.
I mean, Elmano probably stands out because of the mask.
Yes, Elmano probably stands out. So if you ever fucked around with Elmano, you would recognize Elmano's effigy there, since he died horribly in a fire explosion.
Everybody on my dashboard died
was-
horribly in a fiery explosion.
Which was
Or-
Chody's
yeah,
fault.
no, still. Yeah,
Or self emulated.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
buzzard.
I'm gonna put all my points into threat detection.
Okay, you're in threat detection mode. Cool. I'm gonna move us because you're gonna drive. It's gonna take you about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. So we're looking at arriving around noon, 1 o'clock. Now, when you arrive there, what you'll note is that you've seen the construction in Night City. Some of the buildings kind of overhang other buildings. There are kind of areas underneath buildings that are kind of dark and not as well seen. And as I mentioned, this bowling alley is kind of underneath an apartment building, a bit more grand than it. It is not directly connected to the apartment building in internal sense, but it is physically connected to the apartment building in a spatial sense. Does that sentence make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's just like the Quiznos that was below my dorm.
Sorry, what's that?
It was just like, it's
The
just like the
Quiznos
Quiznos that was
below your
below my dorm.
Sorry, I caught that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and snap to the map, and solution is in the chat. Obviously, oh god, hold on. I was about to say cool things, but then my refresh. Bear with me here. Roll20 being a goober. This map is presented by Solution. So you can see your van there. Everybody should have power to control the van. The Militech old style 2045 van. And a lot of the cars here do kind of fall into that similar, like, old style crappy vehicle. But you pull in to the parking area. You can see the entrance there. And the doors are open, so you can kind of see into the space as well. You can park wherever you want. And since you're driving, Cryptid, you can move the car physically wherever you'd like.
What? Which one's mine? I cannot tell. There
Can
it
you
is.
move it?
We will. Yep, I got it.
Okay.
We're gonna park roughly midway. God, I can't put it on.
You can hold Alt
Alt.
and then move it
Yeah, I
and
got
let it
it.
go outside of the grid. Yeah,
I was hitting control because I'm dumb.
that's fair.
Yep.
Okay. So now I'm assuming that Hatter came along. You did not have to, but if you want to, you can. And then the other thing I'll note is the van is again, based on last description, kind of a fucking mess. And so it is the case that you fit in the van, but the back area of the van is filled with like her living arrangement, like a tucked mattress that's kind of folded behind the back seat. There's a road bike inside the back area of the van where like, gear would normally be put. It is a hot mess, and it probably smells like someone lives in here.
There's probably some like food wrappers on the floor in a couple places,
Definitely burrito XXLs, definitely Hungry's burgers, for sure.
But you're getting a free lift, so if you complain, I'll just let you out on the side of the road. Just throwing that out ahead of
time. Perfection. You can pile out of the van. Based on the park job, you're kind of close to this like white automobile, so everyone's kind of like rolling out the side on the slide door.
It looks really fancy, so I parked very close to it. So if they want to try to like turn, it's gonna be a bitch for them.
Fair. Hatter, since you are on the mission and the one that is most focused, you can make a perception roll. But if anyone else wishes to do likewise, you need to ask me a question for what you're looking for, and I will tell you if you get a roll or not.
I would like to look for any signs of like maelstrom activity in this area, like any tags or anything.
No roll necessary. There is no such no such effect.
Okay.
Anybody else?
It's not half bad.
Sorry, hold on. So just to catch Solution and also Zach Stomplewell up on what has happened. Hatter hired the group. They're looking for Ario Meatwagon, who clept a piece or two pieces of cyberware off of a Maelstrom ganger. Apparently the ganger is still alive and wants those pieces back, and hired Hatter to get them. One item is a Netwatch internal cyber deck, which again, Netwatch is a big deal, so this is definitely something that's very illegal to have. And then the second thing is an adrenaline booster, which Hatter hasn't said to the group, but just above table, is for the purposes of performing a Maelstrom cyber ritual. Anyway, they have arrived at a bowling alley, which is where the Ario Meatwagon people are said to be located based on Hatter's intelligence gain. And they are now there. Since nobody has any questions about what they're looking for, I will tell Hatter what he sees with that 18. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Crown.
Is there an Ario Meatwagon like truck?
Make a perception roll. That's the right question. All right. So, Hatter, you and Crown kind of look in the same direction as you're pulling in, off to the right. And then as you kind of park and kind of look outside, you would see that there is an Ario Meatwagon EMT van just south of where you parked.
Good. At least my intel was solid.
Do you want to go check it out, or do you want to go into the bowling alley?
I want to check out the van first.
Okay.
We could sabotage it.
Crown, you walk over to the van. Obviously, Cryptid, you're kind of looking at the entrance, but then you see the big Solo kind of turn and walk that way. So you kind of, and then kind of head over that way. Crown, what are you trying to do with the van, or with the EMT truck transport?
First, I want to check to see if it's like unlocked or anything.
It is locked.
Well, no. Okay, and then then I want to look through the windows, see if there's like any type of bags or anything in the back or the front.
So the front window, like the actual window can be seen through. The windows on the left and right passenger sides, they have armor plating on the interior, and it's kind of a narrow slot that only allows you to look out, not so much look in. But if you look in the front window, what you see is the driver's seat, the passenger seat, and it looks like what appears to be a kind of massive budget armed shotgun kind of slotted in the middle, like police style. There is a small door in the middle of the driver's cabin that looks like it goes back into the actual like rescue bed area, but you can't see into that space.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can I try to jimmy the hood open?
Go ahead and make a vehicle tech roll.
Okay, give me a second to find that. Okay. Vehicle. What is you?
Tech. Vehicle tech. Land vehicle tech, I think it's called. Land
Is
vehicle.
it
It's
in
half-
education?
It's under technique. It's halfway down.
Yep.
Land vehicle tech. Okay.
No, absolutely not. You
No?
kind of realize that this situation is the van is a bit older, or the
Yeah.
whatever an EMT vehicle is called. Is it a van? Is it a truck? What I mean, is it just an ambulance? Is that what they're called? My brain is
Pretty
not.
much.
Yeah,
But I imagine in cyberpunk times, like they would, depending on the company, they would downgrade the vehicle.
It is basically just like a glorified van, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're kind of looking at it, it's older stuff, and it looks like the hood is actually bolted to the space, and it looks like the only times you could remove it is if you had like proper tools and kit.
Where's the tech when you need them?
Well, you
I
actually
mean, you could
drove
slash
past.
tires. I was just going to remove the battery cables, but I mean, like,
The other thing you would
Because-
note is as you're kind of perusing that option is that they are airless tires. They are basically like very hard rubber and like springy metal that make a kind of tire-like situation, but they can't be shot out. EMTs,
Fuck this
police, all that, they don't do air tires.
can I take a mirror off?
No, it's
That
actually
sucks.
there is no mirror. What you would note is it's
God.
actually a internal camera inside of a bulletproof glass dome that looks back and actually shows the rear views on the internal.
With this shit sticking out on the sides.
You gotta protect the people you're picking up, otherwise they're not gonna be able to pay.
Can I try to pick the
That's
lock?
fair.
So if you walk around the vehicle, you would note that there does appear to be two places where a lock could be picked. There is a
I'm
locking
good at doing
mechanism
that.
on the driver's side, and this was to Bunny Doll, who had brought forward the option. The driver's side has a key lock, and the back hatch has a key lock. And Crown, you're staying near the vehicle. Cryptid, you're obviously near the vehicle. Bunny Doll, did you move up to the vehicle? Kristen? Yes? Okay. And you were planning on picking the lock. That's why you said that?
Yep.
You said that?
Mhm.
So I did see
Wow.
you roll that, Cryptid, but again, they proffered the
Yeah,
option, so
it's fine.
they get to...
Yeah, that's a no.
Okay, so you watch as Bunny Doll fails at it, and then you help, and we'll get to that in a minute. However, Hatter, why are there two of you?
I was waiting.
Because
I was
hate
waiting.
Because you hate Elizabeth. Because you are
John,
anti-Elizabeth.
That's
you're
Once
always
again.
bullying me.
That's true. I do hate
Just
Elizabeth.
because I told you that your stream was broken yesterday.
Yeah. But no. So, I would like Rem, Hatter, and Gem to go ahead and make a perception roll.
Perception.
It's not the greatest.
Beep.
Rem, good roll, and Gem, perception's under awareness.
Oh, okay. So I was searching.
Okay, so Rem, you're the only one who catches it. You're a pretty smart cookie. Also, why I hate you, probably. You can see that the entrance is open, and that you can see the actual like kind of registration area where you get the shoes and all that. And there's a lady with kind of like puffy palm hair, kind of looking out the door, looking at you. Like, what the fuck are you doing? As like your friends are kind of like patrolling around a car that doesn't look to be theirs.
Yeah.
You're
She'll.
pretty sure that you have a very limited window in time before she calls NCPD.
Yeah, she'll kind of whistle over at them. Hey, stop! Like, do it or stop fucking around. We got people watching.
Oh yeah, right away. I was just gonna start walking this way.
I'm sorry, did you say we did get the back door open?
So you tried and failed with the 16.
Okay. Fine.
Now, if you would like to take another bite at the apple, you can certainly try. If you don't do so without trying to be stealthy about it, you probably will be caught out, though.
No, it's fine. I was just trying to sabotage this vehicle so they can't get away from us later. But you
It
know,
is
it's okay.
very hard to make a emergency vehicle not do the thing that it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll just have to make the emergency person not be able to do the things.
Just
Now, if you have
post Crown at the door.
if you have a stick of
fine.
C6, you can make everything not move anymore. As some of your friends know from experience.
Jeez.
Remember, easy job. We said an easy, light job. One murder. That's it.
So Hatter, Gem, and Rem, do you,
You
want
didn't
to
say
move?
one murder.
Do you want to move into the bowling alley?
Yeah, once
Yes.
they're starting to move off of it, she'll start heading in.
Okay. When you enter in, there are going to be a couple of sights to see. So I need to go ahead and maneuver some stuff. And obviously, some of you probably already caught on.
This
that they're-
freaking map is cool.
all the maps that we use from Solution are cool.
Oh, the
And I'm
map
not-
is
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I
just
just-
saying
I
that
like
'cause
the-
guys in the chat, obviously. I've been
No,
saying
no,
that
no.
the
The
whole before
lighting
you
on
started
this
watching.
thing. The lighting on this thing is
It's-
fucking rad as
It's
hell.
so fucking. That's why we had to have a bowling alley.
Solution, man, you come in
Fantastic.
clutch every fucking time.
So bear with me while I get through some shit here. So first things first. Obviously, there is the counter at the left side. The lady with the kind of like pom-pom bunny ear type things on her hair, just standing there, kind of like, looking at you. She kind of has one of those like looks on her face because she watched you kind of fucking with that car that wasn't yours. So she's not sure if you're here to cause problems or not. And she very much looks like she's very kind of already agitated by your presence. Based on the way she's dressed and the way that most of you are dressed, you can tell that there is like an economic difference of like who she is versus who you are. You're poor, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
You're all fucking poor.
True.
Even though you have a
It's
shit ton
fine.
of money.
So the feeling is very mutual at this point.
Oh, you don't like her. I got you. But yeah, obviously
I don't like her.
She actually has a reason to not like you because you're poor.
I have a reason to not like her because she's got money and
I
wears
hate her.
it.
I hate her
And she's judging me. And she's judging me.
I wasn't ready for it. No, she has a reason. It's because you're poor.
So this is basically what the counter looks like. You'll see that in the picture, there's kind of like a couch on the the north side, a couch on the south side of there. Occupying those seats, the very first thing you see on the north seat there is Jerry B.M. Matthews, who we've already discussed. He's wearing a bright yellow emergency medical technician jacket, along with matching pants. Looks like he has a knife in his inside his jacket. He has a bandana wrapped around his head. It looks like it's nothing more than like medical gauze. And across from him is another guy who is also wearing an EMT fit. And Crown, you would recognize this individual based on his fit as well. This is Jerry's partner, John,
Hey.
aka Shock. So you recognize these two. And they seem to be just sitting there calmly, and they seem to be kind of just, patiently waiting. Hatter, go ahead and give me a human perception roll. Again, you're the social guy, so I'm just trying to make sure you're using them.
And I wish that's the one I dumped more points into. It's not terrible, but
You would notice that they're nervous. It looks like Shock, the guy with the helmet on, is kind of like, stepping his foot up and down, like tapping his foot. And it looks like the guy you're looking for, BM, is kind of occasionally like reaching into his jacket and crossing his arms and kind of grabbing the handle of his knife. Now the girl's kind of looking at them and you in a similar fashion. Like, not only are you poor, but so are these, accident chasers.
That's what she thinks. I want to buy a lane.
The other thing you would notice is that it looks like this desk is heavily surveilled. There are 3 cameras in place that are surveilling this front area. So if you would like to commit a murder on camera, you can. That's absolutely something you can do. I will enjoy the fallout, but that's up to you.
We have 2 medias. It will be on camera no matter what.
Regardless, we're filming this shit.
Yeah.
This just depends on who has access to it.
On the right side, to your right, you would see that it looks like it opens up into like a small kind of area with 4 billiard tables. There are currently only 3 occupants to that section of Bowling Hill, and it looks as though, again, just from like a higher vantage point, kind of give you an idea of what you're looking down at. The 3 individuals who are there look like they're wearing kind of rich leisure wear. One of them's wearing like a leather jacket and no shirt underneath. They don't look out of place because their gear still looks pretty fly. It looks like they're trying to be fashionable. And they are basically just going through the motions of playing a game of pool. The bigger guy with the leather jacket, no shirt, he is looking at you, and he's standing between 2 comfy-looking chairs, or like kind of circular benches, really, and kind of just staring at you as you enter in. He looks like he's the hustle. And if that's not a term folks understand, hustle means hired muscle. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotta explain the jargon
That's
sometimes.
great.
Just to the
How
north
much
of you.
does a lane cost?
Do you walk up to her and ask that?
Yeah.
It's going to be
you're
100
bold.
eddies. And,
For how long?
Only 4 people are allowed to be per lane. And you use it until you're done. And that's absolutely fine. You just bowl one, whatever the number of... I'm not a bowling guy anymore. I bowled when I was very, very young, and that was 30 plus years ago. Or 30 years ago. Let's go with 30. I was like 10.
I was like, you're not that old.
Shush. You don't know.
All
He's
right,
an
let's
old
take
man.
Let's take up a pair of lanes.
Okay. You saw
I'll
200?
put down the 200 of these. Yeah.
Okay. So, Crown, do you kind of try to obscure yourself by kind of staying at the medium point? There's like that advertisement stand in the center there. Do you try and kind of keep yourself away from the Aria meat wagon pair, or do you kind of don't care and let them see you?
You know what? I'm going to try and stay away from them for a second.
Give me a stealth
Like, I'm
roll.
gonna wait for them to go in. Like, all the way in.
No, you're staying outside.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I'm asking you, are you staying outside? Because you moved your token away. You can stay
Oh.
inside and be stealthy and not be seen. You're with a crowd.
Okay, cool.
So that's what you want to do?
No, I wanna go inside, but I wanna be like sneaky.
Yeah, that's what... We're on the same page.
Where
Go ahead and make
is
a stealth
stealth?
roll. It's under body.
Okay, gotcha.
That was too hard. Okay.
It really was.
Well, you're a big guy, a big Kiwi, if I recall correctly.
I was about to say there are. I don't know everyone's sizes, but like he's the only solo. So
Oh, yeah.
He's got it, and he's got his face all tatted and Maori. Like that is definitely
No, yeah.
easily identified.
So you would notice that BM kind of looks at you, kind of has a puzzled look, and then kind of like a surprised look, but then he kind of like turns his head away and kind of like shakes his head. With your human perception roll from earlier, since Hatter, you're kind of focused on him and him specific. What that means to you is that he looked at him and appears to be waiting for somebody, potentially a buyer, and he realized that that can't be true. That can't be him. And kind of turned his attention away.
okay then. Well, I think this will be fun, but I think the first order of business is just talking to the person.
Okay, so Cryptid, you're walking up to the booth. You're slamming 200 eddies down on the table for 2 lanes, and then Hatter basically just bypasses you once the lady has taken your money. So your plan may just be a wash of cash being wasted. And you
It's
walk.
fine. It gives me bowling balls.
You walk straight up to him, and he kind of
Alright.
like, again, like if it wasn't already there, he kind of puts his hands like this, and you can see that his hand goes for the handle of his knife, And he looks up at you and says, "Can I help you?"
I would just say there's no need to reach for that. I know you're selling something. I would like to buy it to make this easy.
Crown, under threat detection, you would notice that Shock on the opposite side has basically placed his pistol in his lap. No one else notices that.
Can I immediately get behind him and just put a hand on his shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you do, he kind of looks up at you and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing here, man?"
I know. This is a new job. Trust me, you don't want to do that with me on the job.
And he kind of like, looks down. The gun he's got in his lap, you would recognize as a pretty reliable pistol. It's a revolver. I can't remember the name of it. It's not an Overture, but it's a nice gun. You seem to have him kind of, he moves his hand away from the handle of the gun, and then it goes back to the Hatter side of it, and he says, what does he say next, Hatter?
Oh, I would just look down and say, I don't want to cause a scene. I don't want to cause an issue here. Just be a lot easier for all of us if you gave me back what you have taken. I'll still pay you for it, and we can go on about our ways.
Can't do it. And he looks up at you and kind of shakes his head. And I wouldn't advise fucking around. And he points.
You mean in front of all? You mean in front of all the cameras where everyone can see?
And he points up to the center of the room. And when you look up to where he's pointing, you would see a automatic defense unit that would drop from the ceiling and probably start shooting everybody in here if a firefight ensued.
I would lean down as close and whisper, "Do you think I care if anyone walks out of here but me?" It's that simple. I want to have a conversation. If you don't, that's fine.
He says, "Here's the rub. I really don't like you fucking multi-eyed psychopaths. So the case is gonna be, you're gonna be the first one we kill. Maybe the last one. Maybe the only one. But that's enough for me. What you stole, or what they stole, if you're not connected, you shouldn't have."
I'm just paid for a job. Just as you probably are trying to be.
Wait, you're not a Maelstrom ganger? What's with the fucking... I mean, I guess it's kind of light. Who are you? Who the fuck are you? And he kind of backs up a little bit. He still has his arms crossed and his hand on the knife, but he kind of like backs up and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
I would sit down near him if possible,
Yeah.
like if he has a double seat.
Well,
I would say...
You can sit on the left seat with him, or you could, there's like a little bit of like a couch kind of thing here. You can sit across from him, like diagonal.
I would do that.
If you want to give him some space.
Yeah.
Okay. He looks at you. "Who the fuck are you?"
I just work with whoever pays me.
Okay.
But at the moment, it's the Maelstrom. I just need to get this done. I need to go home. I need to fix all the stains on this suit from that ratty truck I drove in. And we need to get things going.
Well, here's the sitch. I don't know when.
Don't knock the van. You're walking home if you keep that shit.
You wouldn't hear it, hopefully. That would be the hope.
I'm literally right fucking there. And I've got a whole cyber suite. Don't even try.
That's true. I forgot your media too.
Yeah. He says, "Well, here's the sitch. The buyer's a guy named G. I don't know if you know him. The situation is he's going to have a contact come here and he's going to be picking up the items. They're paying 50,000 eddies. Can you match it?"
Oh, damn.
I would look at him and say, the better question is do you care after you get paid?
I do. I do. If it goes back to Maelstrom, if that's where this is going with you, I'd rather that not be the case.
I'm guessing there's not even a chance to roll a persuasion roll or anything here.
You can roll a persuasion
with this
roll,
guy's...
but also give me like the next the jot or tittle of the dialogue, so I kind of like set the DV based on what you say.
Yep, I'd be honest with him. I try to be an honest man. Yeah, it would be going back to Maelstrom. There would be just going back to the person who it was taken from, and whatever they do with it is their business. It's their property.
Well, they took it from someone that they weren't supposed to take it from in the first place. Theft of
Someone dear to you?
No, I don't give a fuck. But it's a Netwatch guy.
I would just kind of raise my hands and my shoulders at that
Like you don't
and
even
say,
care.
so?
And he kind of goes, yeah. Like, it kind of like seemingly agrees with that sentiment.
But if you have no connections to it, the only reason you're so angry about it going back to Maelstrom is because, and I would just kind of like try to like get him to say why he hates the Maelstrom so much. I get there's definitely going to be a reason, but
Like, yeah, you know it's gonna come like to a situation where like they killed somebody important to him or some fucking crazy shit. They're kind of assholes sometimes.
Yeah, they're bad people. I work with bad people. I get it. So,
and he basically explains that these scavs and Maelstrom scavs around where he's at in Japantown and Arroyo definitely cause problems for him and his friends. And he explains that he lost a lover about half a decade ago. Several of the friends of his that used to work with him dropped out because of Maelstrom activity and gang fighting. And he's very kind of thorough in his description of this. As that's happening, Gem, Bunny Doll, are you two doing anything, moving in, checking anything out?
Oh, I want to go into this other room and
Okay.
see what kind of people that
We
are
could
in.
just pay for 2 lanes.
Sure. So you would see what look like nomads at one kind of pair of lanes, and then you would see what you would recognize as animals. And when I say animals, you're probably thinking like goats and gazelles or whatever. No. In Night City, Animal is a gang, the Animals. And you remember El Mano?
Mhm.
El Mano is not a member of the Animals, but he might as well have been. The thesis of the Animals is I want to make muscles go big. I want to be as strong and buff as possible with cybernetic grafting, muscle grafting, enhancements, supplements, some cyberware, but I want to be as physically fit as is physically possible. And so the 4 individuals are here. There's 3 guys and a girl, and they're kind of like sitting and talking. It looks like, according to the scoring screen, that they've completed their run of the bowling action. And it sounds like, from what you can overhear, that they're discussing maybe going again. And based on their stats, I don't know if Jem would know anything about bowling or not. That's entirely up to you as a player. But if she does, she would realize that they're not very high scorers. Some people got over 100, and that's about right.
they could just like hold the ball in a hand and throw it like a fastball.
Yeah,
I was expecting you to say like a 300 every time.
They were specifically told not to do that by the staff.
That's why they rolled so low.
It was probably something.
Yeah.
What they said was probably something of the lines of "Don't do that again," as it's happened before.
That's why they only got to 100. Like, that's how they got to 100.
Started having to use dex checks.
But also only why they didn't get any further.
The other group look like they are like Dutch or like kind of like Northern European kind of Scandinavian types. They look like they're wearing like nomad gear, and they kind of look like weird pirates.
Can you click on which group is what?
Yeah, sure. This is the animals here.
Okay.
And this is the pirates.
You are a matey.
One of the pirates is over at the bar, and the bartender looks like an Irish guy with a flat cap. To the north of all of that is an arcade, a door to an arcade. It looks like there might be some people in there, and there's definitely kind of like a clangor of sound coming from the arcade, as is to be expected. Like the sounds of the arcades on their loop cycle. There's also the occasional like bing 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 of like some ticket games in there as well.
Is one of the pirates like straight up shirtless?
Probably. Yeah.
Wow.
And right across
I don't
his
even
chest,
know about the no shirt.
right across his chest, it said, it like tattooed in kind of like an almost like calligraphy like text is the word hustle, spelled Hustle, or sorry, Huscle. It's muscle and hustle combined as one word.
The world building,
Wow.
Cute.
the brain power.
So that's what
Okay.
you see,
It's
Bunny,
probably his name.
or just his his job.
His name.
His job description. Okay. Do you two want to do anything else inside of that space? Go to the bar, try to talk to any of these people, what have you?
I'm thinking just stay inconspicuous for now because we don't know what's going on yet.
Well, I would say the worst way to do that would be stand in the middle of the room. So do you want to move to like a table, or do you want to move to the bar?
Talk to the pirates.
It's like,
You could
all
take
right.
up
Good
different
question.
lanes.
It's like step into the space, like walking through the door. Just stop and go. All right, incognito. sorry.
Don't be suspicious.
You head over to the bar, and then Jem, you walk over to the animals.
Yep.
Okay. So what you would note is if Cryptid's plan of getting 2 lanes is the plan at hand, the animals have the 2 bottommost lanes. No one's using this lane, and it looks like the pirates are using the next 2 lanes, which means that the only 2 available lanes are not next to each other. Whether or not you find that to be a problem or not is up to you. If you want to use that as a lead-in, you can certainly do that.
My friend just got this lane next to you. You guys look like you're such good players. Will you show me how to play? Totally above. She doesn't know how to bowl. She doesn't know what that is.
They, all 4 of them, look at you. And hold on, I gotta roll some dice. One of them goes, "Holy shit!" And the girl's like, "Oh my god, you're Jem, right? Holy shit, it would be an honor to fucking bowl with you, girly. Oh my god!" And then they like kind of move, and they like kind of like gesture at the couch, "Please, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." And then the guy who's kind of like standing there kind of like moves. He like gets up and offers like Bunny Doll his seat. And then when he kind of like looks to Jem, you see him kind of lean in, and there's like a large armor like plate, like a shield plate on his arm, and he's just, "Oh, could you sign this for me?"
Absolutely. Totally gonna sign it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna
Lovely.
kiss it. And then kiss it.
When you're looking at it, you would notice that all 4 of these individuals, especially the ones whose shirts are a little like not quite there, they appear to all have the same tattoo on their chest, and the tattoo is of a black hand.
Is this the Dark Brotherhood?
It is kind of Dark Brotherhood coded. I'll grant you that. But yeah, it definitely is not that, because they suck compared
Wrong
to what
genre,
they're.
sorry.
They suck compared to what we're referencing.
Inverted urukai.
No.
Yeah.
Also
Negative
sucks
urukai.
compared to what we're referencing.
Anti-urukai.
Not even close
Wow.
to as cool. J.R.R. Tolkien got nothing on me. Oh my god. The braggadociousness. But yeah, if you kind of chatter and kind of hang with them, they're willing to bowl with you. You can have 4 per lane. So they have 4 people, which means you could stack 4 more people into your crew, and then you'd have 2 lanes of 4, total of 8 people, and just bowl with the animals. I'm going to cut back from you and go back to Crown. Your hand's on the shoulder of the guy with the gun in his lap, and he's kind of like, chill, right?
Yeah.
And as they're talking over there, he kind of looks up to you and he says, "What happened to that girl?"
Lost her. She got kidnapped, and I failed me job. But let's not talk about the negatives. Let's
Wait.
get us a pint, eh?
What girl are you talking about? I'm talking about the robot one from like 2 months ago. There's
Oh, I
another
don't-
girl?
There was several.
You just protect girls?
walked
Is that
in
what
with
you
4.
do? For work?
Oh, I mean, it's the jobs that come in handy. I'm good at it? Well, not really, but
He kind of
it happens.
shakes his head, looks down at his lap, then looks back up at you and says, "Where do I sign up?"
Oh. You just show up to places, you know, on the interwebs that have those the forums and whatnot, and they'll hire you as long as you got a gun and a knife.
He looks absolutely dumbfounded and confused, and we're going to switch to the two medias. So you've got your tickets, and as you kind of loiter for a bit, the lady behind the counter says, "You can go to your lanes, pick whichever ones you like. Just place your tickets inside of the receiver, and it'll key that one to you, okay?" And she seems to be kind of talking to you as the fixer and the target are talking, and she's kind of trying to get you away from her counter.
Yeah.
Do with that as you will.
Yep. But don't you sell any like concessions or anything? People usually like to drink and eat while they bowl.
Bar's in the other room. The only thing that you need from me, and she kind of looks at you and then looks at Rem, and she places out 2 sets of shoes. If you are on the bowling lanes, you're going to need these shoes. You're going to need to be wearing these shoes specifically. And there's a 1,000 eddy charge if they are damaged or removed from the premises.
Heard.
Okay, I can see over here. Does it look like these people are all wearing bowling shoes?
Yep.
Wow.
In fact,
okay.
a couple of them, the shoes look like clown shoes on them. Like they
God.
look like they made oversized shoes in a clown-like fashion to ensure that
Okay.
people with massive feet like these people could wear them comfortably.
I love it.
I'll take the shoes.
Accessibility.
I'm not putting them on.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of go around the corner and stay right about here for now.
Okay.
Disappearing from her sight.
And you, Rem?
That's a sofa, not a wall. I
Is
think
it a sofa?
Yeah, that is a
it's a
sofa.
sofa.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a sofa.
Is there a wall here?
Walls here.
That's a sofa.
Yeah. No, like right here. There's wall.
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
yeah,
I'm out
that
of her
is
sight
Yeah,
if
that
I
is.
hide against it.
That's a wall, for sure, for sure.
wall.
Go ahead.
Before heading around, she'll check in with Hatter and be like, "You okay,
Okay.
boss?"
Well, right when you kind of make that move, I'll try and kind of interject you into where they are at dialogue-wise. So we're going to continue, Chandler, and then at a certain moment, Elizabeth, I'm basically going to say this is the moment you're kind of coming to that point. So a bit of chatter coming from the counter. I forget where we left off intentionally because I think I left the ball in your court. So go ahead and start it up.
He was just explaining how
Yep.
everything's bad and his life is back to the maelstrom. And I asked if there was any way I could make a perception roll, not persuasion roll. And I feel like the DV is going to be incredibly high.
It'll be up there, but it's not impossible. Go ahead and make a roll. I'll set the
And we got a
DV.
rocker, so
You do have a rocker, so you can spend luck after the fact. That's right. And folks, if you want
Can't
to chip
anybody
in,
put in luck?
you can
Yeah.
chip in after as well. You don't have to roll before.
Oh,
Okay.
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 So what I'll tell you is the DV is 17, which means you need an 18 to beat it, which means a luck will need to be spent for this. to
I'll
happen.
I'll
add
just
one.
use mine. Oh, I was like, I'll just
Oh.
use my own.
Okay. What he's going to say to you in this moment, because the success was never going to be a, yeah, sure, I'll pass up 50,000 eddies so you can have it. He'll say, I'm not the one you need to convince. If I sell you the item, G's man is going to kill me. My friends and everybody I know.
I'm not
I-
asking you to sell me anything. I'm asking you to be okay with what happens after you sell it.
I will wait here. I will go through the process of selling the item as I planned. And I will point him out to you, the individual that I sell to. No problems. And then you do whatever you want. And if you do that, I take my money, you take your items, whatever else you want from the guy, and we can just be done.
I would just reach out my hand quietly, and that's it. Just reach it out for a handshake.
He will shake your hand. When he does, this is right when, like, as that's happening, you're about to, like, place your hand on his shoulder and ask that question. Once he kind of leans in for the, and you're kind of like, okay, well, this looks okay. Because then you see him reach out and grab his hand, they shake. And then Crown, you see him kind of, the other meat wagon guy kind of look over and go, huh, I can't believe he agreed. And kind of looks up at Crown. Huh. Well, okay. And you see him kind of reach down for the pistol, Crown.
Okay, yeah.
And he picks it up and he puts it into his coat.
Okay.
I put it out there loosely because I was wondering if you were just going to snap react.
No, I'll give him a tap on the shoulder, and then I'll be like, "Be right back with that pint."
All right. Okay, so you head in. It looks like Jem is currently and Bunny Doll, although I assume it's very much a situation where Jem is like life of the party, laughing, giggling, talking to the animals, and then Bunny Doll is like sitting in the couch, like just kind of like straight, like, you know, perfect posture, kind of staring ahead, and then when someone, like, you know, brushes against her or, like, you know, talks to her, she kind of yeah. Or
She's there.
or if she's more social, I don't know, like, I just vibes wise, I think it's funny that we
Slightly more social, but very kind of airheaded. So it's not like directly talking to people unless they get her attention and she wants to talk.
They very much don't seem to be capable of, like, interesting you. Like, they are very much just talking about Jem right now, which sounds kind of fucking boring, to be honest. It's basically just talking about these songs that sound like they're... What does Jem put out? It's probably, like, a lot of, like, poppy kind of love songs, like...
Oh, very Pink Pony Girl.
Pink Pony Girl, so we're talking about... Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Pink Pony Club, yeah.
Yeah, we've got, like, you know, vibes that are very poppy and very kind of like, you know, very, very bar music. Okay, cool. But yeah, Cryptid, you would see that's the case.
I'm gonna drop my girls some shoes, and I like their friends. They look like they could use a cheeseburger, though.
Okay. There are no cheeseburgers.
The last big guy I knew, he really liked cheeseburgers, and there's cheeseburgers from this very special place called Hungry's Cheeseburgers. And, yeah, I miss him.
The Faded One ate burgers from Hungry's. We try to find that food truck anywhere it is in Night City.
I'm sorry, the who?
The Faded One. The man.
I'm sorry. Who?
They all at the same time kind of point at their chest at the very strange black hand on their chest.
Can I know what it's referencing. Cheryl Lark knows what it's referencing. Can Cryptid know what they are referencing now?
That's entirely up to you. I'm okay with it either way. So is Shimmy.
You're not.
Apparently.
Are you shitting me right? The Fade. Are you talking about El Mano?
Yeah, El Mano.
What's El
How do you know El Mano?
Oh, we know El Mano. He's been fighting the circus for like a year or 2 years. He killed a big famous N54 guy. He punched so hard into the air, it killed him, and it was like across the entire bay. And then the girl says, "Yeah, he punched so hard, it flew across the bay and killed this guy in Konpeki Plaza." And this other guy goes,
You know that was an accident, right?
Yeah,
You didn't
I
mean
remember
to do
that. No, yeah, it wasn't. He didn't mean to kill the guy, but he did it. But then he made friends with the N54 guys. What's his name? Cam and Kadumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Dumbo. Okay, yeah, you got that. Yeah, that's
Yep.
interesting. I don't. It's been a while since anybody knew my. Yeah.
Yeah, legend
I,
goes, some words were written about it. I know the prophet knows a bit about the Fated One, and has read the words, and he said that, according to the one known as Crime Tid, that Mano, the Hand, the Fated One, exploded like the sun for our sins. And the only way we can do well to make his heart happy is to get really big and explode ourselves.
Y'all have access to the internet, right?
I mean, we have access to it, sure.
Okay. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna give you a link if you don't mind. I'll just airdrop this, and it's just going to be my article.
The scream sheet, and then they go, the words!
It's spelled
and they point.
It's
that Crime Tid! Yeah, that's the one! And they point.
No.
You've seen the words. You know about the man. And they all kind of like get up and kind of circle you, and it's kind of weird and like very awkward. And then the girl kind of like leans in forward with this look on her face, like, and then she kind of like starts like reaching out like she's gonna hug you.
I'm just going to put my hands against her hands.
And for some reason, all you can hear in your head is one of us, one of us. They're not saying it, but for some reason, you're hearing it in your head.
I'm gonna place my hands against her hands so she can't hug me, but
you're pretty sure that your resistance is not going to afford you much defense, but backing away would work.
I was about to say, you're getting hugged if you're standing still.
Yeah, if you're standing still, the hug's happening. If you are backing away,
if I've just become some kind of fucking prophet for a cult, I'm
No. You have not outed yourself. You did not say, I am
Not yet.
Like,
no, not yet.
As far as they know, you just have the word, so that means you're a believer, just like them.
Wait. Okay, so who did you all hear this from? Like, what is their tether here to
the
that
prophet?
Story?
The prophet, the one who has his hand.
Who is this prophet?
Oh, he lives in Pacifica. We've made the pilgrimage one time. And you're like,
right.
you're thinking about it, and you're like, whatever this is, it can't have existed for longer than a month, because he died about a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you're thinking to yourself, they performed a pilgrimage, and they're talking about it like it was some great like undertaking to go all the way to Pacifica for this.
Now, if a believer wanted to make the pilgrimage, where would they be going?
Oh, exactly. To the Grand Ball.
The what? Sorry?
The Grand Ball.
The Grand Ball.
Mall.
Mall. Okay, sorry. I'm hearing incorrectly.
The Grand Imperial Mall, says another guy. Yes. We went there.
And there's just a prophet guy that talks about El Mono there?
The prophet. And, yeah. He's a guy. And yeah, he talks about the Fated One. Of course.
The Fated One. What is it exactly that El Mono was fated to do? Just blow up?
It was the Fated One.
Because let me tell you, that's not a happy thing.
The lady who tried to hug you and did not get to hug you kind of looks at you and goes, maybe she's not a believer. And then the guy who's kind of talking to you kind of looks at you a bit sternly. And then the other guy goes, we are to shun the non-believers. And they kind of all look at you at the same time. You must make the pilgrimage yourself. The Grand Imperial Mall. Go to there. And when you arrive, ask to speak to the prophet, the one with the hand. And the lady says, I hope your heart can find the light of the Fated One. And you too can explode like we hope to do one day. And then they look at Jem. You want to meet the fated one, right? Says the girl.
Of course I do.
They go right back into their raucous body talking about Jem's music, and they ignore cryptid existence again.
Side quest, okay.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
gonna.
Yeah,
Oh
Bunny's
my
there.
goodness.
She remembered that she had a burger, so she starts eating it.
Yeah, well, Bunny's about to start seeing cryptid about ready to have a mentee bee in the middle of this fucking bowling alley because we're talking about one of her best friends that blew up in front of her fucking face. These people are just
Worshipping him.
worshiping, not him, just him. The fact that he exploded, like, that's not cool.
That was what he was fated to do.
That's
Faded
foretold.
one.
And they're using my scream sheet
The
as
words.
the
The words.
You are the prophet.
no, they're calling some other asshat a prophet.
Yeah. The prophet who's read the words to them. Like, when she showed it to them, they didn't read it. They weren't like, oh, they saw
You
the
know
word
what?
tried
You
to-
know what I'm gonna do? They think I don't know shit. They think I'm not a believer. I'm gonna word for word start reciting what I fucking wrote.
If you do
As
that,
if it's gospel.
if you do that, I need you to tell me what your goal is, and like in doing so, like you obviously are doing it for purpose. So I want to know what the purpose is, and then once that's done, I'll tell you what step 2 is.
The purpose is to emphasize that it is not a glorious end, but a sad end, a tragic end. And so it's
You-
going to be very fire and brimstone rather than glory.
So
and
you are
light.
trying to make yourself out to be a prophet.
The real prophet.
Okay, persuasion.
Okay, where is persuasion? It's going to be under
I believe in
social,
you.
I think. Let's see.
I need this to go well.
It's gonna be
Oh,
bad.
You can spend luck if you want to.
Not
I'm not going
bad.
to tell you the DV
Yeah.
of this. I just want you to know it is high. But if you folks
You
would
know
like
what?
to spend luck, each one of you can chip in 1. And Lark, you can spend as much as you like. I want to make sure this is very clear, though, before you start spending luck. This is going to be a 10-session series. You spend it now, it does not recover until session 10 of series 2. Just keep that in mind.
I'm spending 3 luck.
Okay?
I still
Oh,
have 2
crap.
luck. We're fine.
Anybody want to chip in at all?
no.
Nuh-uh.
No
I
takers.
only have 5 luck. Sorry.
Okay.
Not this early.
So
At
what
4. So.
What I will tell you is that the DV was 17. You managed to
Yeah.
sway them
Nice.
into thinking that you are important. However, you do not shake their beliefs as was intended. They think that you are also a prophet, but they do not believe what they believe already. You do not dissuade them, and every time you try and maneuver it to well, pay attention to the sad part, or you're trying to kind of shake the belief that they have, there's a lack of understanding of how it works that complicates that. But what you don't do is make yourself out to be anything less than as much a prophet of the words as the prophet, let's just say the real prophet. But you have
The false prophet.
you have basically gotten yourself to the same position as him, and they return to kind of trying to egg you on to going and making the pilgrimage to the prophet. This is obviously.
I will be fucking making that pilgrimage.
This is obviously a long durational event here. Jem and Bonnie Doll,
Yeah.
you do not have to sit through this sermon. If you would like to maneuver yourself away from that, you are welcome to do that. Alternatively, you can stick around for it. That's fine too. You could probably read along. Some of you might have it on your agents or internals. But if not, what would you like to do? Maneuver or stick?
I'm leaving.
That makes sense. Go to the bar.
I'm gonna go next door. This is our lane, right? These are some new interesting people to meet.
That's right. Okay, so you move over to the quote-unquote pirates. And then, what about you, Bonnie Doll? Just maintaining sitting arrangements that you're kind of locked in? Nope, getting the fuck
No,
out of there.
I
Getting the fuck out of
am
there.
feeling drained by the stupidity. I need new
Okay.
environment.
So, Cryptid, you're locked in stupidity session, a.k.a. You preaching. Who would have thought the terrorist was a prosthetized?
I'm giving them details that weren't even in my article.
You're very adamant about this. I understand. And if you show them like the videos of the scrolls, they'll be like, "Yeah, we've seen the scrolls," and they're saying it instead of scrolling. They're not using the word like a BD word. It sounds like they're saying scrolls. Like these are like mythical texts on like digitized
Buddhist fucking scrolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like scrolls. Okay. So while that's happening, Hatter and Rem, you're kind of either maneuvering into the lanes or sticking somewhere around here. Where would you two like to kind of maneuver to?
I know personally, because I need to see what this person looks like, I would like to be in a position that still allows me to do that.
Okay.
So something like eat
Do you want
here.
to stay in the billiards area, or do you want to kind of...
Yeah, actually, I'd just happily pop way over here. Just go grab a drink and then sit back down way over here.
Rem, you can tell from a long shot that that's fucked up what's going on in the other room. Whether or not you want to go in there and hang out with your other friends, or if you want to stick with Hatter, is up to you.
She'll hand off the shoes to like Bunny Doll, probably, and then go over and to the billiards and kind of flirt and watch the nicely dressed guys over
with
here.
the nicely dressed guys, or are you flirting with Hatter?
Not me.
With the guys.
Okay, we'll deal with that in a second.
No.
Crown, you go in and
Being
you
friendly.
pick up a pint. The bartender goes, "Oi, what do you have?" And you say 2 brosips, and he hands you 2 brosips. You're just gonna go right back into the front room with those and hand one off to Shaw.
Yeah, but do I pay here or at the front?
Oh, you pay here.
Okay, how much?
It'll be a total of 60 for 2.
60. Damn, that's absurd.
Jesus.
You're in Charter Hill.
Bowling alley prices.
You're in Charter Hill.
Yeah.
It's a rip off, but okay.
Yeah.
He'll pay and then he'll start. He'll just he'll look angrily at the bartender, but like he'll move on.
Well, what's funny is this: you don't have like you don't have like a quick way of paying. So it's literally like you're pulling out the cash and like counting it and like annoyedly looking at him, handing it to him, and he says, "Would you like a receipt?" Or sorry, he's Irish. "Oh, would you like a receipt?" And you're like, "Yeah." And he has to go through the process of printing like the small plastic receipt, and he hands it over to you. It's like this whole
I'm gonna
like
snatch it from him.
it's an absolutely like it's a passive aggressive city from both ends. Like the two of you are just like fighting for your beliefs, and he gets paid, so he technically wins, and you walk away with 2 overpriced beers, so you technically lose. And yeah, you head back into the other space. Jem, when you walk over to these other individuals, one of them kind of looks over at you and says, "Oh, are you getting 2 lanes?" This guy says to you.
Yeah.
We'll move over.
No, you don't have to move over.
No, it's okay. And they'll kind of get up and very kind of very non-hostily kind of move away from you, almost as if they're retreating. And then this guy comes over with like an arm full of beers, all like heavy glass bottles, and kind of walks over to his friends and starts kind of passing them out. It looks like he hands like 3 to one guy, 2 to another, and he's just passing out the beers. They all look happy, but they all kind of have this very strange, I don't know, it's just a very like chill attitude towards any kind of like argument that would kind of come their way. Like when you kind of walked over, they knew you were kind of going to ask about moving, and they just did it.
Totally wasn't gonna ask, but I appreciate it. I'm gonna go to the lane right next to them though.
Okay. And they kind of keep to themselves. They're not going to ask you questions or kind of interject with you. Like they're not going to come out of their shells here on this.
I'm gonna attempt to bowl
Okay.
but I really don't know how to bowl.
You
So
slide.
I'm gonna.
You slide your ticket into this one. You walk over to the lane next to it. You slide your ticket into that one. You have both of the lanes that are adjacent there under your control. So that'd be this one and this one. And Bunny Doll would, based on what she was doing prior, will move along with you, and you kind of like lock in, start punching in your names in the little terminal. You can put funny names if you want, or you can put your real name or your handle or whatever. But you could put things like farts or whatever you wanted to put in there. Lame. But yeah, it looks like those two are on that process. The processizing is still happening at this point. Hatter, you sit down near the billiards, and Rem, you walk over to them. This guy with like the kind of like very expensive looking tracksuit and mirror shades kind of looks at you, and as you walk over, he goes, "Hey, can I help you with something?" You
I was just gonna watch. Is that all right?
looks over at the others. They kind of nod, and he kind of looks at you and says, "Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Don't mind if he's looking at you a bit. It's either because he likes you or because he thinks you're a problem. You'll know when you know."
Fine.
He kind of like walks around the table with like a very elegant kind of like walk, and he's kind of looking at the balls and their placement. He does a quick chalk on the cue and hits, manages to sink a couple of balls. It looks like there's a level of skill there that he has. And the other guy's kind of nodding his head as the guy continues to kind of move the table. Like he seems to be kind of running the table a bit.
Mhm.
The big guy is definitely looking at you. If you'd like to make a human perception roll, you can. To try and determine which of the two options the guy suggested the looking might be
Yeah.
for. You're
8.
not sure. It's definitely a very hostile feeling gaze, but I guess that could be either, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He is a very large man in the most fuckboy fit that you probably have seen in Night City. He looks like a bro. Like he just looks like a big bro. And yeah, he is definitely just locked onto you vision wise. The other guys are kind of handling their business, and if you want to re-engage with them, you can. And Hatter, they seem to be moneyed individuals.
I would be just sitting there. I wouldn't really be doing much. I'd just be waiting.
Okay. All right. If no other dips back into that conversation, Crown, you pick up the beers. You walk back over to Shock, hand him his. He kind of nods his head at you. As that is happening, you would see that in the doorway, walking in at this very moment, is a shadow of a man who looks absolutely and utterly intimidating just on his silhouette. He appears to have a hood drawn up over his head, black leather, or possibly pseudo. It's more likely pseudo leather. But just covered with cyberware and gear. You can see glowing red dots inside of his hood. And he's walking in like he owns the place. And I will have a picture of him up in a moment. Bear with me. As that happens, it's
How
happening.
tall is he?
Probably close to 6'8" or 9.
He's a big boy.
Ooh. Book
The
Talk
hood-
would love him.
The hood is kind of peaked up a bit, so he's like, it kind of ripples, a bit at the
Ooh,
top
it's
of
doing
the.
something.
Bear with me here. I believe everyone has already seen this character.
Is this the character you said you didn't make thirsty? Are you kidding me? This is the one?
I posted a picture of him earlier today in the Discord.
Where?
Look,
Where?
we are.
John.
Jonah,
This
settle
is the
down.
session.
Where?
This is the session where we join cults. By the way.
Where?
And this is what
Look
he
in general.
looks like.
Yeah.
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 Damn it. I need it.
Yeah.
Crown, you don't recognize him. Hatter, you look over and you would know a Maelstrom ganger when you see one.
Yeah.
But you'd also know, and this has not been described terribly well to you because it's not a thing an outsider would know about, but you are aware that there are cults or cliques or subdivisions inside the Maelstrom that have very hyper fixations on a very esoteric religion that is very much rooted in the formation, the rituals of the warrior rituals of the Maelstrom's predecessors, the Metal Warriors. This guy walks in like he owns the place, and you can see that his eyes immediately kind of move over to Jerry.
Is there any way I could get up and get over to him quicker than he could get to Jerry?
He is walking like a fucking panther. Like, he is literally moving with such intent that it takes him like this very slow, like he's this very slow prowling thing. So you with your cyber legs and like, you know, kind of like initiative, you kind of pop up and kind of move forward and try to intercept.
I would love to land like
Probably catch
right
him.
here.
Yeah, you'd probably catch him. Well, you'd probably be like just a bit north of him, but yeah, you'd catch him right there.
John, I'm switching my points.
You stay there. You kind of like are holding. You handed over the pint. You're holding your. It's not a pint really. It's more like a big bottle. It is a pint's worth, but it's still in a bottle. It's not like a glass. But you're standing there with a beer in your hand, and this guy walks in, and you're switching your points to.
Oops, sorry. I'm switching to damage deflection and attack precision.
I would also look over at him because I have the gag order skill. And without saying anything, I would look at Crown and just be like, this is dangerous. Be ready.
And again, with gag order, that means that he can communicate simple ideas like that without speaking. So you are well aware of Hatter's intent.
Yeah, I'll put my pint down. Get ready.
You kind of hand it back to John because there's really nowhere to set it, and he kind of just is now holding two beers.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm in between him and the Maelstrom ganger.
For sure. I wish I was John. John Shock Bates. 2 beers ready for a fight to happen in front of me.
Double fisting it.
Hell yeah. No comment on that, Lark, okay, you sicko.
I'm being quiet.
Focusing up though. Ren, you definitely see that this situation is changing. You would also notice that the guy in the tracksuit is moving away from the billiard table and kind of moving not directly behind you, but like kind of in your direction. Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Just straight perception?
You bet.
Okay.
Under awareness, cool.
Perception?
Yep.
Just for Rem. Just for
18.
Rem. So you would notice that as he's moving, his hand is kind of dipping behind, like his left hand, which is kind of away from you. It's kind of dipping back behind him, and you can hear the unbuckling of a holster.
Oh shit.
Okay. He looks at you, Hatter, as you intercept, and he raises his hand up, and he speaks, and when he does so, he has a normal voice, which is kind of deep and, like, very just dominating. But it seems like there's a second voice that goes with it that's more metallic and just, like, harsh. And he says, "You are an affiliate of the Corps. You have no business with the cults. Leave me."
I sadly have business right here.
Who is your,
If you're, I think we're trying to do the same thing.
who is your charge?
Did you tell me who got me?
He's a friend of yours. You can name him whatever you like, but you do not know his affiliations with inside the Maelstrom other than he is a part of the Maelstrom. They typically don't say that they worship one of the three aspects or what they kind of like lean to when it comes to the rituals of the Metal Warriors. It's like Scientology, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's kind of like, it's very obscure. Like they are opaque, rather. They don't really like tip a lot about their religion to outsiders.
It's got tears.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give
Tears
you a
of
name
knowledge.
suggestion?
Yeah, I was about to say I don't have a name right off the top of my head, so throw it at me if you got one.
Ron Swanson.
That's such a terrible one. Jonah, you let me down so badly there.
You killed Johan!
Well, we do like our names because I believe Brent is a fan of those, but Ron Swanson is probably not a good name for a cybernetic nightmare of a gang goon. Like
What
that's
would it be?
Lamp.
How about Ben
No.
Bear?
Lamp is good.
Lamp.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's a single word that is.
Yeah.
Lamp is the guy's name that you know.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson would be all organic.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
I
someone
agree.
that
All
you
me.
hang out with, Crown, is Ron Swanson. Like, that's not someone who hangs out with me.
You know what?
But
You're
yeah,
right.
I would tell him Lamp. Let's go with Lamp. I like that suggestion. And just see how he reacts to that.
He says Lamp. Lamp is a member of the Veils. He is not in the same order as I am. I have no desire for him to receive what he wishes to have. We are not doing the same thing.
Oh man.
You are an affiliate of the Core. You are not an affiliate of the cults. You have no business here. Tell your friend Lamp that he has tried to take an outsider and make him do the work of the cult. And by right, he is breaking rules, and you are being brought into something you do not belong. If you wish just to turn to blows, you see him kind of raise his hand and kind of close his fist. When he does so, you see sparks shoot out of his knuckles, and he says, "We can certainly be violent." And the lady with the puffier, puff hair says, "Sorry, excuse me. Please, if you do that, I'm gonna have to activate the PDU. Okay? Stop with the intimidating glances." And everybody in this space, including like the two Ario Meatwagon people, are kind of looking at her like, "The fuck is wrong with you?" And she's just standing there like, "I'll do it. I'll press the button. I'll kill everyone in here."
I would look over at her and say, "That won't be necessary. That's not why we're here."
Gosh, I hope so.
And I would look back at the guy and say, "Well, you heard what I was going to say next. I would rather not have anyone in my little group killed." I said, "So if you're going to do something violent, at least give me the respect of being in the same group and tell me ahead of time, and I will take my group out and leave you to your business."
We're not doing anything violent here. Me and Barry, and he's like, Jerry. My name's Jerry. Me and Barry have business. I'm already paying him on behalf of our benefactor.
Oh, shit. Oh, John, why do you do this? How do you convince a zealot that I should have it? Man.
That's the neat part. You don't.
Yeah. That is the neat part.
Jerry kind of stands up.
Everyone has internals, right? But Crown?
You can be on Hollow if you want to. Crown doesn't have an internal, but his agent is literally strapped to his bulletproof vest, and he has an earpiece in, so he has the effects of a Hollow call. He is just not on. He's not. You're not going to be able to see his like vision or like see his like face in your Hollow call like is normal. Because normally what a Hollow call does is like tracks your head's movement and like shows your head moving as you're talking inside of like a digital space. It creates a construct of your head. That doesn't happen with him. Instead, it's literally just a picture of him going.
My hollow has my symbol.
Yeah, you can have your symbol
It's just
appear
a
instead.
PNG VTuber.
Yeah, but it's just literally a PNG and it's like bouncing like with the volume.
Yeah, it just bounces whenever he talks.
And it's
So-
not
I
even
do
a good photo. It's a bad photo.
It's a bad
guys.
photo. It's blurry. The smile is like just like bright as hell. Like
I do want to say that Cryptid's attention has definitely shifted mostly towards what's going on in there, but
Well-
she is going to try to keep up a front of what she's
what I was
doing.
going to say is for the people who are not in the room and are not directly kind of looking at the situation. So that would be Gem, Bunny Doll, and Cryptid. I would like for you three to go ahead and make perception rolls. But what I'm going to say is Cryptid, because you are the way you explained yourself in talking about this, you were very heated and adamant.
Yeah.
And a perception roll is made. You will have a penalty. Even with that penalty,
Okay.
you're still going to make it. You do notice this stuff and can kind of start kind of
I got a
reading out of
job
the
to
dialogue.
do.
Gem, you have no idea what the fuck's going on in the other room, and you're kind of like trying to get ready to bowl, and you're like kind of focused on this is the task, this is the job, and you're kind of also looking over at the pirate guys, and it seems like they're just like very happy and very like, you know, they're in a good place. They seem to be having fun. They're genuinely here for the purpose of bowling, unlike apparently everyone else. And then, Bunny Doll, do you mention it to Gem as, like, you see it?
Yeah, I just like kind of nudge Jim and I'm like, hey, this is going on.
I would get on the hollow, and just tell everyone, hey, we don't have business here right now. Everyone out of the front door. And I would word it very specifically, out of the front door. Don't look for another exit, just out of the front.
You would see that like I mentioned, Jerry got up, kind of placed his hands, you know, like where he had them, his comfort zone, and he says to the priest, he says, "I've got what you want. It's outside." And you would see the priest kind of grit his teeth, look at Hatter, and he kind of like leans in a little bit. He smells really bad. Like, obviously, you expect a Maelstrom ganger to kind of smell funky, right? Kind of like metal and like sweat and gross. But he smells like really weird, like very thick smelling cigarettes. Like it's almost like it's at the level of like the a fetid kind of like been sitting and lingering like cigarette smell that's kind of present on him when he leans in, and he says, "Don't follow us." And then he kind of looks to Jerry, and then with his black cyber arm kind of gestures towards the door.
I would ask, and it maybe need a persuasion roll, if we could leave first, as a sign of good faith.
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll. Yeah. He kind of stops Jerry with his cyber arm, like as he's trying to pass. "Because of your service to the core, you can go."
So what's going to happen next, gang, is going to be a little stupid, I hope. I want non-combats out first, and then me and Crown to leave last. And I would want to, when we're all about to leave, when Crown is the last one about to walk out the door, to convince him to pull out his pistol and shoot it in the air to trigger that turret. And then for us to run out the door.
Okay. So who's going out first?
That is up to the other four.
Yeah.
Me, I'll leave first.
Okay. Bunny Doll, you and Jem are kind of walking towards the door, and you're passing by everybody. Rem, I want to make sure when we talk about you leaving the situation with you. But yeah, you, Bunny Doll, you make it out. Jem, you make it out. When you get outside, You're a bit annoyed to see that there are two individuals outside in black cloaks. One of them is smoking a cigarette and appears to be more feminine than the apparent sex machine that I've created on the interior. And the other one
You're just
appears.
adding to his good qualities.
The other one appears to be just kind of normal person shaped, but with like maelstrom face. So like
He's definitely going into fan fiction now.
I mean, if you're writing a fan fiction,
Right.
great, wonderful, I suppose.
It too. Shijo already has one going.
Wonderful.
Tag me in it, Jijo.
Do they really? I haven't read it yet.
Not for these guys.
But yeah, they're
Oh.
just kind of standing
they're-
outside, like on different sidewalks. One of them's near the meat wagon bus. The other one, who's smoking her, she's kind of down here near the street entrance. But not what you expected to see out here. Definitely an unwelcome sight to see.
Can I communicate that to the rest of the team?
Yeah. On Holo Call, you're not actually talking. Your neural processor is able to compute your thoughts into words using your speech system and deliver it therein. So when Chandler's character, Hatter, was telling you, get the fuck out, he wasn't like, get the fuck out! And like the guy was like, yeah, sure. So yeah, you communicate without problem to your group through the Holo. And then where would
Does
you...
Crown have to physically talk?
Crown on the
Yeah,
other
you don't
hand
get to talk.
Crown does have to physically talk to get messages across on his end, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
And
Just making sure.
another fun fact, it doesn't matter here, but I just want to give you a heads up. Because you actually have like a speaker in your ear, not Rem so much right now, but Cryptid Cryptid's not that close either, but if they were close to you, they could actually hear them talking to you in the Holo Call through your speaker because of their cyber audio suites.
God.
Okay.
That would be so annoying.
Uh-huh.
The echo.
Thank you. Great.
It's like when someone doesn't mute the Zoom call.
Right.
Yeah.
I only did that one time.
For
It's not
Or-
always you, trust me.
Go
for
ahead.
Crown, at least with me, I still have the gag order works both ways.
Yeah.
So he can do small amounts of communication with me, which could be a panic. Please don't make me shoot. That's fine. That's allowed to be
no.
said.
He's willing to shoot. He just wants, like, I don't know if he can get this through in the gag order, but like he wants to shoot the guy, not just up in the air.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to get that turret to trigger and then to pick up afterwards.
I'll let the medias decide which one they want to go next.
Rem first.
Oh, okay.
Do you step forward and head out, Ren?
Oh, she would kind of look at the guy who was pulling unbuckling his holster next to her, or kind of behind her, be like, don't do anything stupid.
And when you're saying that, you see his left hand come free, like there's no gun, but then you would feel the barrel of his gun press against your back. And he says,
Fun.
your friend has something very, very expensive. You're going to help me get it.
Dang.
Sure.
You going to make me kill a character this quickly?
So you would know from the press of the gun, it's definitely just a pistol. It's nothing crazy, right? You're pretty sure, because I think you have a reflex of 8, you're pretty sure you can snap around and get away from the pistol without issue.
Oh, yeah.
You're also a brain dance kind of specialist, so spatial awareness is something you're kind of focused on. The PDU could not hit you from here. It's a very short-range, small arms fire that comes out of the turret. So
Yeah.
you're pretty sure over here you're safe. Yeah, you're on video, but you definitely are being accosted, so you have self-defense as a clause here.
Right.
So,
So,
just making sure that's clear. But before
right.
before you spring into action, or not, like go along with his plan, again, whichever way you want to go, totally both are legit options here. Cryptid.
Oh, okay.
You head out?
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I kind of want Rem to go first. She's my junior on this. So.
She'll, like, if she sees you hesitate, she'll ping you on Hollow and just be like, go. I got this.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn to these guys and say, well, kids, it's been fun, but Mother's got work to do. I'm gonna pop my actual face hollow up and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to hover at the door because the funny thing was I was gonna shoot the thing all the way out, but I'm gonna hover around this area. Like in the doorway.
Okay, so you would notice once you get to the door that if you do kind of linger inside, the two girls who've already exited who are not combatants are basically going to be stone cold solo against two apparent badasses.
They're about to be combatants.
Fine, we'll get out here.
I don't think I've ever heard the term non-combatant in Cyberpunk.
Well, they're not.
Yeah, I was gonna.
They're not.
You said non-combatants out the door, and I'm like, who the fuck is not combating in
We
this?
live in Night City, motherfucker.
Not combatant.
We came here to murder a guy. Like.
Okay. So Hatter and Crown, last two. You start moving towards the door, correct?
Correct.
And then tell
I'm
me.
not right behind him, but like I'm about like 2 steps behind, or like 5 steps behind him. Sorry.
Okay.
I would happily cross and get out, and I would hopefully, again, it's up. Crown has free will. He's allowed to not do it or do it. I would.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I would, over the hollow call, just very briefly say 5% extra for at least 2 rounds, because that's usually fire rate.
Yeah,
I want to make sure the havoc happens.
If you shoot Crown, is what he's saying. If you shoot 2 shots, he'll pay you 5% extra.
Yeah, he'll fucking do it. He hates Maelstrom right now. He'll fucking do it. He was gonna do it for free, but 5%, that's a lot more.
Right?
He's gonna
Want to make sure I am a man of
On
my word.
brand, you are overpaying people again.
So I want to make sure that we understand how initiative works when it comes to acting outside of an initiative order. First things first, select your token, click initiative on your sheet. Should be up at the top. Yep, everybody's in.
I'm not cheating. I have I got the perk that gives me full points in initiative reaction.
No, I know.
Just making sure.
Oh!
Oh no!
I don't think I've seen a negative number in a while.
There was one last night, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So Crown, fortunately you rolled higher than everyone else, which means that the initiative will follow its normal order. Had you not, everyone else would be acting in their order, but you would start the initiative pool. So if you rolled that -3, initiative would start at the very bottom, and we would go then cycle backing up to the top. But Crown, it is your turn. You are in a combat scenario. I haven't changed the music because you have yet to do the deed. However, it is your turn. Move, act, however you'd like to do it. If you're saying, I'm just walking out and I'm not doing the shooting, then we don't have to continue on an initiative track. But if you do say the thing that I think you're about to say, we will have to stay on an initiative track.
That's fine. So he's gonna like get real close to the door. And like I'm assuming like he's about to hit that precipice.
Yeah.
And then he's just gonna say, alright. And then he's gonna just pull out his gun from his holster, turn 180 degrees, and shoot this guy twice.
A gorgeous draw of the Constitutional Arms Liberty pistol. Beautiful, gorgeous, long, pointed straight down the way. Go ahead and make your attack, because I believe it is a very heavy pistol, or is it just a heavy?
Heavy.
Oh, 2 shots.
You.
Okay.
Oh.
That first one will
Okay.
hit, and these were just body shots, because you didn't say for the head.
Yeah, just going for body.
Yep.
And then let's do that one. Oh my god.
Doing good, doing good.
Go.
And then I think I have a perk. Hold on. Just make sure.
Rio
I
Bravo.
think I make it hurt more.
I'm just double checking because I don't know. I think it's for brawling, but I just want to double check. Melee weapon, brawling. Yeah, okay. So just 2 shots, bang bang.
Yeah.
And then
So the
he's
first
gonna
one you
step
pull,
up.
you shoot, and it hits him in the chest, and you watch the bullet kind of deflate and just kind of break against his skin, and then fall to the ground in pieces, as 11 does not breach his subdermal plating. And then he looks directly at you, like he turns his attention to you. The hood is about here, and you can see that 2 or 3 eyes are still looking at you. You bring up the second shot, and when you pull the trigger, his form becomes nothing more than a blur of motion. And as the bullet hits that blur of motion, he is now standing right in front of you.
I said shoot.
Okay.
I said shoot in the air.
The PDU,
I want to make that clear.
the PDU drops, and the girl with the bobblehead hair kind of drops down behind the counter, holding some sort of remote device as she falls away, disappears. Okay, Crown, that's your turn. You still have movement.
Yeah. I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna move past the door.
The second you move away from him, he'll use his perk. It is a NPC perk called Grasping Hand. I need you to make an evasion roll.
Got you. Okay. Body or fighting?
Should be under fighting for evasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
18?
As you're trying to move away from him, his big right hand, which is covered in like hoses and wires, sweeps around you like a snap of a dragon's tail, wraps around your big old chest, and just draws you back in. You are currently being grabbed by him.
Does this count as a brawling martial arts or melee weapon attack?
It is a brawling attack. It is called grab, yes.
I want to use my perk, payback, and I want to hit him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and make a brawling attack against him. He will
16?
roll evasion. He's grabbing you, technically, so he was successful. It's after the attack is made you make yours. And your attack will be at -2 as well because you're being grabbed. So it'll be at 14.
14.
I only got a 12 on mine, which means you hit. What's your body?
11, I think. But it's an extra D6.
So it should be 5d6 on the damage roll.
Yeah.
46 for the body plus 1d6 for your perk.
Okay. Is he also... I'm just making sure, but is he a drone, mech, or robot? No. Okay. So you have 5d6.
Okay. So you do manage to breach his subdermal plating, and he will take some damage. As you kind of like catch him and he kind of pulls you in, you kind of bring your elbow out and you kind of just jut it inwards, and you can hear kind of like a crumple of metal. And he kind of, when that happens, you're pretty sure you got a good shot in, but he still manages to kind of keep the arm locked on your shoulder and like pulling you in with his forearm.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure you are the envy of all the ladies at the moment, and the music
held so closely.
Not cryptid, but Lark, yes.
The music changes to combat time. Oh my god, I had the perfect song for this. Yeah, that's the one.
You had to shoot him, didn't you? Not the air, not the turret, him. Of all things.
It would have gone
You
down
hired him.
similarly, except I wouldn't have been able to use my perk to move closer to him after being shot at.
Oh man, it would have looked a little different that he would have been out the door with us.
True.
Okay, so you being in the door frame and him holding you, he kind of looks at you, like after taking the hit, kind of, and then grabs the back of your neck with his other hand, and then pushes your face straight forward towards the door frame. Go ahead and make an evasion roll. Again, you have a -2 to the roll.
-2? Okay, got you. 14.
He will succeed. You will take a
Dang.
total of 18 points of damage to the head.
Ooh. Okay.
So armor plating will matter. This is a brawling attack, so armor plating will matter. So just reduce the amount of damage I dealt by your armor, and then ablate your armor.
Alright. How many?
So what's your
Just
armor?
one, or-
What's your armor? Yeah, just one. It's just one
Okay.
for the ablate.
So it's after the ablating, it's 14, but 15 to start.
Okay, so your armor was 15 on the head. So then, you would have taken very little damage from that. So your kind of head like slams into it. The helmet stays sturdy. He then reaches over and grabs the door and slams it onto your head. Go ahead and give me another evasion roll.
I like this guy. 16.
Okay, that succeeds. So as like your face smashes into the wall or into the frame, you kind of pull back, knowing what's happening. See his black metal arm reach out, grab the door, and bring it in with like hyper motion. And you kind of lean back into him, so it sweeps past you. He throws it so hard that it smashes through the frame, breaks off its hinges, and flies out the door, kind of sliding past Gem as that happens.
Oh my god.
You see the other, those of you outside, when the door goes flying out there, and like his frame is now kind of in the doorway, you see the other two tech priests kind of look in your direction, eyes kind of light bright orange, and they seem to be now engaged. They weren't ready to fight before, but now they are on the initiative at the priest's space.
And he's still holding me, right?
Yes, you're still grabbed.
Okay.
Next turn I'll be throwing you. Rem, you are up. The guy behind you has the gun. That shit just broke out, and you can feel like him push, like he feels like he's trying to like assert himself. Free human perception roll.
Okay, hold on. That's under social.
Okay. So yeah, it definitely feels like, he is trying to assert himself. Whether that's because he's very nervous and scared, or he thinks he has a power play here, you're not sure.
Right. She is going to hold on. Where is it? Sorry, it's been a minute. Fighting. There we go. He's not grappling me. And that makes me sad. But can I just like beat him up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like try and get his gun.
If you
out
spin
of his
around and kind of
hand.
start to fight him,
Okay.
though, he has a readied action. Go ahead and make an evasion roll as he pulls the trigger.
Okay. So that is on body. No, that is still fighting.
It's not going to be
Jesus
good.
Christ.
You try to spin around very quickly. He pulls the trigger with a decent amount of lucidity and kind of clips you on your hip. Your armor on your body is 11, right?
It's currently at 8.
No. You haven't taken any damage this series. It should have maxed out. It was repaired
Oh,
during the night market. I thought I mentioned that somewhere.
Oh.
It might not have been the case. But yeah, you should have full
No,
armor.
sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Then yes, 11.
So then you're only going to take 2 points of damage in your armor roll of blade 1. 13 is the damage I dealt with the gun.
Okay.
And then, so basically just like a scratch, and then you kind of spin around and are prepared to fight. Go ahead and do what you're going to do. Claws, fighting, whichever one you want.
Yeah.
He's wearing a tracksuit. It doesn't look like he's wearing armor.
Right. Here's the records.
Alright. 2 attacks. Evasion roll 1, failure. Evasion roll 2, failure.
And then she'll yell, "Get off me!"
Okay. So you kind of slash at his
She does
arms
that.
and kind of like lean down and kind of swipe down at his forearms. You catch him, but he manages to hold onto the gun. But with those rolls, he is now seriously injured. So he's at half of his hit points, and he kind of looks at you like, "Fucking bitch!" And he kind of points at you, and the big guy's like, "Ugh," kind of leans in forward. He's not doing anything yet. They haven't got an initiative roll because they weren't expecting this. Gem, you're up. A door flies out of the fucking frame behind you, slides on the ground into the parking lot. The 2 tech priests activate. It looks like Crown is currently in melee combat with Haughty McTech Priest. You don't know where Rem is, and the rest of your crew's out here with you.
Hey, how does charismatic impact work?
Huh?
How does charismatic impact work?
So
Like, it
charismatic impact would let you kind of like bring people along and kind of inspire them, but charismatic impact is typically used outside of combat, prior to combat. So
okay.
unfortunately, like it would have been a situation where, and I was trying to kind of lead towards you and both and Cryptid, because you kind of had like a little bit of a these people might be helpful to us kind of situation, but unfortunately it wasn't bit down upon. So you learn from your mistakes. I would say that charismatic impact, if you wanted to run back into the space, it might be problematic because the PDU is deployed.
I was going to say.
The PDU is not going to shoot at one target. It has several guns on it, and it's going to try and fire at everybody who is armed inside of the space. So,
Guess
this is a heads
who's
up.
not armed?
Everything in front of that space is getting shot. Like. You are armed. You're willing combat, Cyberware.
Okay.
I was just making
Oh.
She's mostly just hands on.
I thought you were making a joke like to the future of like somebody's gonna cut your arm off and you're gonna make an arm.
Oh no.
Sequel to Legless. You're like, God, I hope not.
So everybody in this space.
Everybody inside of the bowling area
inside the bowling alley.
is probably gonna get shot by that defense unit. Yeah.
Do I have a clear shot on the priest then?
The guy who's holding Crown, no, because he's holding Crown. From what you can tell, it looks like he's kind of interjecting him. I'll say as an out-of-character note that you wouldn't know because mechanics, but it's pretty telling that it looks like he could easily use Crown as a human shield.
So am I able to like stand in this space and shoot and then like step out?
He's still going to be able to maneuver Crown in between you and him.
He is. Okay.
Keeping in mind, there are 2 priests in the parking lot that are not acting yet, but are definitely looking like they're going to fuck with you.
I'd be good to focus on the more immediate threat that doesn't have a turret above it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
if
right.
escape is the plan, those 2 guys have, or the lady and the guy outside are going to have to die.
I'm sorry, John. Where do I see my movement speed?
It should be movement. If you select your token, it should be the green number. I believe it's 6. So 6 spaces is the number of spaces you move.
Oh, okay. That's where it goes up. Sorry, it's been a minute. Alright then.
And I only just noticed this. I don't think your audio is coming in through your headset. It's coming in pretty good, but I just heard an echo. That's really strange. Most people who have it like not hit the right spot, it sounds really bad. But I just noticed that it had an echo. That's
I'll
weird.
check in a minute.
That's right. No worries.
I built a computer. Everything's all wonky.
It sounds good. It doesn't sound bad, but it just had like a little bit of an echo there, and I realized it's not the mic.
Fine, I'll address it.
No worries.
Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna shoot at this lady.
Okay.
See how I do.
Pop out, bang. Okay, 25 will definitely hit. She does not have a reflex coprocessor or anything crazy, so she'll just be taking that. You hit her in the chest. You would notice that the bullets kind of just bounce off of her like chest area. They all have subdermal plating, which gives them 11 SP all over the body.
Nice.
Okay, second shot, rate of fire 2. Also hitting, but no damage. You're basically just putting rounds into the chest. There's like a spark show on her chest. Or her boobies. Okay. Something for the lads, okay? We got the tech pretty sexy mans for the lady. We're Chris,
I don't know. Jonah seemed pretty
Well, Jonah likes
jazzed
both.
about the cyber priest too.
Don't like what?
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Cryptid is up.
Now, John, I know you said we could run in and talk to our bros that we just, made friends with the PUD, whatever thing, situation going on there, when there would make it difficult. However, I did just spend at length discussing stuff with them, showing them the internet, and airdropping them information.
Correct.
I am going to airdrop them another piece of information and say there is a false prophet among us, and have that guy all over it.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and roll an intelligence roll for all of them, and I think you know how this goes, based on your conversation with them, to see what that means to them and how they need to interpret it. Out of character, what I'm going to explain to you is it's going to take more than 2 to 3 seconds, which is what rounds are, for you to effectuate a change in their, like, we're just hanging out kind of pace.
Eliminate them.
Right now it's a situation where the PDU is being deployed, they're hearing the klaxon, they're hearing gunfire, and they're probably saying to themselves, that's not our problem, we're probably just going to hang out here, right? But I will allow you as an action to send some information. It may or may not effectuate something, but if you want to move as well, you can. It looks like you're kind of out in the open. You don't see any weapons on these priests yet, but they probably
I do want to make
weapons.
sure that it's being sent from the cryptid, like, moniker, though.
Sure.
Anyway, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to shoot a motherfucker. 1, 2.
Well, no, your action was sending information.
Okay, that's fine then. In that case, we're going to. Right there.
Okay. And brandish the pistol.
Yep, and a knife. Knife in my offhand.
All right.
It's one of those 0-point suppression knives.
Hatter, I want you, because you're a cyberware expert, I want you to give me a cyber tech roll. You're a seller. You may not be an expert on it, but I want you to give me one anyway.
I have a decent score in it, so
Give it to me. Okay. She, and by she I mean the priest on the left, definitely has a very strange looking cyber arm, but you don't recognize what it has in it. If you'd rolled a little higher, you would have been able to catch it. If you want to spend some luck, I need 2 points of luck for you to get the success.
I don't think it's that necessary.
Okay.
I think they're scary no matter what. If they're scarier after knowing, it's not going to change what's happening.
It might change where you go, but yeah. Go ahead. Your action, your move.
I can use like 3 squares of movement and then do an action and then 3 squares of movement, right?
Yeah, you can actually do your movement at any point during your action and vice versa.
2, 3. I'm going to pop right here in the doorway.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to look at Crown and use my skill Dead or Alive for my action for turn. And that gives him an additional action on his turn.
Yep.
And then I'm going to 1, 2, 3 back to my little position and be done with my turn.
You kind of walk in and you say, you're getting extra pay, but you gotta fucking finish the fight. And then run back in.
You only get the bonus if you live.
And he's like, ooh, ooh. On one, the
He doesn't even have cyberware that I can take. That's the issue here. He needs to make it out of this.
On one, the PDU is going to activate and fire. So it is going to be performing suppressive fire first to bog down all targets. The REO Meat Wagon crew failed their concentration checks.
Yeah.
The priest is not required to make concentration checks. I need you to make a concentration check. My brain's dumb. Your name is Crown.
Crown. I got you.
Okay. So you are absolutely you need to do whatever you can to get to cover. And at this current stage, the guy is not technically cover, because like I mentioned, he doesn't have to roll because he's going to use you as a defense mechanism for it. So you need to break the grapple on your turn. The only thing you can do is attempt to break the grapple and get to cover, because you're being suppressed. A bunch of bullets are just firing everywhere in this area. Okay. Also on one, the meat wagon guys go, and as mentioned, they are being suppressed, so they are bolting for cover. He's going to jump behind the closest position to him, which would be the couch that he was sitting on, and he's going to do likewise. They are cowering behind the couches. That was on one. Bunny Doll, you are on -3. And you are a med tech. I don't know if you have cyber tech in technique trained. You're not a surgeon, never mind. Ignore everything I just said. Take your turn.
Okay, hold on a minute. Let's see. I have trained in surgery because I needed that one time and I wasn't trained yet.
Oh, I'll let you roll a cyber tech roll then, even if you don't have points in it. Go to technique and then roll cyber tech. Success. Her right arm has an internal projectile launch system, which means she can fire a rocket from her hand. Do you want to remain outside and standing next to your friends and not in cover?
Me?
Yeah,
in
you
my
have an
arm?
opportunity to move the fuck away from everyone and like duck behind cover. You're pretty sure
One of the
that
male strummers have it.
the
Not
girl, yeah, she has a rocket launcher
Has a
in
rocket
her
launcher.
hand.
I sure as hell am seeking cover because I don't have enough movement to be able to do anything else.
Yeah. Bolt. Yeah, run. Just you see her go, oh shit. Do you say anything when you start running for the cover?
Yeah, can I send a message over the holo?
Yeah, you say she's got a fucking rocket launcher. Crown, you are up. You are still in the
Right.
arms of an angel. How would you like to proceed? Oh, you have no choice.
I don't know. I kind of don't want to leave. Can
Go
I
ahead.
stay?
You can't. You're being suppressed by gunfire. So go ahead and make
Fuck.
a athletics roll. Or not athletics, sorry, a brawling
So
roll.
now
Got it.
he's an angel,
Brawling roll, brawling roll, brawling roll.
a fallen
Okay.
angel.
That'll succeed against his
Brawling
brawling. You
angel.
break contact with him, and since you started
Okay.
in a grab, he can't use his perk anymore
Okay.
against you this turn. So go ahead and move. You have to move for the closest point of cover. That can be determined
So it's
by
like
you,
right
but
here,
yeah, it's basically out, well, all the way outside.
all the way up. Okay.
Yep.
Um.
And then
So
your
the
action-
extra action I gave you can only be used to attack him.
yeah, your
That's
action,
the issue here.
So you can use it. You can still use it. That is a freebie. But your action, your genuine normal action, had to be breaking
That's
him
get out.
and getting out.
Yeah.
So as you're like moving away from him, you can like behind your back, kind of drop the liberty at him, or if you want to use a different gun or weapon while you're moving, or if you want to punch him like while you're fleeing, however you want to roll.
Ooh, can I punch him before I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to punch him before I leave. So I'm gonna. Do I just put myself back for the punching?
No, don't worry about it. We know
Okay.
how it's working. You don't have to
Alright,
move the tokens. It's fine.
So I think it's 2. Yeah, it's 2. Okay.
Absolutely.
15.
Okay, so there's no longer any penalties because there's no grab. You watch his hand kind of flare up and block it, and you get a second
Alright.
attack.
Second attack. Ooh,
And
14.
basically, like that one blocks, and you kind of like throw a straight shot, and he just kind of wraps his arm around it and then pushes your forearm back. And you're kind of like staggered a bit, and you kind of rush out the door as the bullets are like flying down around you. And your turn's done, right?
Yeah.
As you pop out, you're kind of like cold night city air, the smog, the smell, everything, and you kind of look up, and all of the others are kind of looking, and they hear on the hollow, and you're hearing on the hollow, she's got a rocket launcher, fuck! And you can see Bunny Doll just like sprinting as fast as she can, you know, with all of her med kit and shit, like just jostling as she bolts for cover. You see the girl kind of throw her cloak back, throw her cigarette to the ground, and go, burn. Jumps up into the air about 15 feet. Her arm deploys a projectile launch system, and a rocket fires straight out of it right into the middle of your group. If you do not have an evasion of 8 or a reflex coprocessor, you're taking the damage straight. If you have one of those things, I need an evasion roll.
Rolling it. Ooh! Quick on his feet.
You got big numbers. Big numbers.
This is bullshit! Oh, wait, Jem, do you have a reflex of 8?
Doesn't sound like it. It sounds scary.
You reflex that, Kimmy?
It's all the way at the top. You might be muted. I don't know.
You might be muted.
I was. Sorry.
What's your reflex at the top?
8. So I click that.
No. If you have a reflex of 8, that means you can dodge bullets and explosions. Now you go to your fighting section, and you hit evasion. And if you get a 16 or better, you are dodging the explosion. Fuck all of you. So I really need to quickly draw a doodle here. So bear with me here. I believe that is 555. It is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thought we were dead as shit there.
See that square?
Yeah.
Everybody move outside of that square. You do not have to move at the quickest point. So like Jem, if you want to move out back into the space, or if you want to move out towards the cars, you just need to be outside of that square. You can go wherever you want outside of the square. Either forward, backwards, side to side, it doesn't matter.
Can I go that way?
Yeah, sure. As long as you're not in the square and you're still adjacent to it. So basically, you see her launch up into the air, very dramatic, and everyone's already like, feet are hitting the ground as you're like, reacting to it. Missile launcher deploys, launches, slams into the ground, explodes, and everyone's like rolling and kind of dodging and sliding into space as that happens. As the explosion hits, it kind of causes everyone to kind of lose track of what's going on, and there's this blur of black motion as the cloak on the other priest kind of flares out, and this guy slams into Cryptid. Cryptid, go ahead and make another evasion roll. Okay, so he kind of comes in, slams his hand against your neck, and lifts you off the ground. You're being grabbed, but you're also being choked at the same time. And I'll explain what choke does here in a minute. In a very short minute.
I can tell you what choke does.
Yeah, I know, you're a martial artist. Yeah. So basically, you are being choked, which means that as an action in the future, I can just deal automatic damage to you with my body stat. And in addition to that, that damage ignores your armor and it doesn't ablate it. And I can either choke you to death or choke you to unconsciousness, my choice. Okay? You get out of a choke the same way you get out of a grab. You would attempt a brawling roll to escape. And then the crusher inside, the priest inside, you hear him moving, and you can hear bullets hitting against metal and such. And then you hear kind of like a growly kind of grunt or something. And then you hear a voice say, "It's in the fucking EMT! This went fucked!" And then you hear a kind of like a very loud slam. Rem, you are actually seeing what's happening because you're inside the space. The priest walked over and he said, "Where are they?" And he says, "They're in the EMT." And then he says, "Fuck you," and slams his hand into Jerry's chest, knocking him unconscious or possibly killing him. You can't tell.
Damn.
Ouch.
Yeah, Red Tail's gonna be pissed. After he does that, he kind of wanders back towards the door. Bullets are still firing down at him. He just doesn't care. They're not piercing his armor. They're submachine
Nice.
That's a
guns.
big hide. That is a big hide.
2d6 damage, like, doesn't give a fuck. Okay, Rem, you're next. The guy you were fighting and his team are going to be going on one, same team, or same kind of space I'm going with all the other NPCs that are inconsequential. He looks like he's ready to fight. His big guy looks like he's ready to fight. The other guy with, like, that was playing pool against him, he doesn't look like he's interested.
Alright. The guy who attacked me, he's still ready to go.
Yeah, he's got a gun. His arms are bleeding a bit, but he's...
She's just gonna go ahead and rip into him again.
Okay.
Because he doesn't know when to quit. That burst damage bullshit.
It is quite bad. But he's
Oh,
not wearing
that's the
armor.
one.
Fucking snake eye.
So the problem for him is you've already dealt more than half of his hit points. So as you kind of like look at him, you kind of just rush forward, slam your nails down into his chest, and then rake outwards. And you can hear like his ribs kind of crack and his shoulder kind of dislodge. His gun goes flying to the side, sprawling onto the ground, and his body just slumps. The big guy's like really mad looking at you when that happens.
And she'll look at the big guy and say, "I said, quit."
I need you to roll me a d6.
Me?
Yep. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You don't know what's happening with that. And then, Rem, what would you like to do
Great.
in response?
The turret, it can basically hit anywhere here.
It's currently firing suppressing fire. It only hits stuff that's
Right.
in it. If you want to run through it, it's not a problem.
Okay. So I could, like, dash out. Well, I
Well,
guess
you
I
don't have an
can't
action,
dash.
but you can move towards the door. If you end up in that space, you'll have to take a shot. But what's your speed? 8?
I think it's... Oh, hold
You
on.
can get into the doorway. If you have a move of 8.
It is 6.
Oh, yeah, you don't have a move of 8. So, yeah, you may want to just wait
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just wait.
and then run next turn. Okay.
Mhm.
Jem, you're up.
Okay, I want to switch to Manus Blades.
Yep.
And then, can I like... what I want to do is like run and jump on this guy and then start tearing into him.
Okay. Yeah, you just rush forward, jump behind him, blades out, extending. Go ahead and make 2 Mantis Blade attacks. Okay, so the first one is going to hit. I need you to roll me 2d6.
Oh, 2d6, okay.
Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Low is good, high is good.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's dope. That's dope, that's dope, that's dope. Okay. So for the first attack, you rush in. You see that like he's like holding Cryptid up with one hand and just like holding her aloft, and you can see Cryptid's face like after the roll was like hell yeah, and then what the fuck? Like just snap up like nothing, and you kind of angrily snap the blades out, rush forward. The first Mantis blade comes down and cleaves the arm at the bicep, cleaning it right off of his body. Cryptid, you fall back down to the ground and like drop onto your knees. His hand is still holding your neck, but you feel the actuators on the cyber arm kind of go loose. White fluid and blood kind of flaring from the stump of the arm. And you look at him kind of turn towards you, and as you swing the second blade, he kind of raises his other arm up, and it scrapes across the metal plating on the side, and he doesn't get hit by it. But you cut off his dominant hand, his right arm. Pretty
And stay here.
fucking rad. Pretty Cryptid. You're right there. You're still standing. Hand falls off of you. How would you like to proceed?
Yeah. We're going to use the move aim action, so +3 on handgun skill checks.
Yep.
And Rio Bravo, which means I get a +3 to attacking the headshots. I'm
So
within
only
0 to 6
-5?
meters.
Take the shot.
Yep. Where is this right here? Where's the thing? Where's the thing to make the thing?
And his arm was removed, but he is critically injured. He is not seriously wounded. I just want to make sure that's clear.
What do I have to hit in order for it to do the whole block stat instead of just a regular roll?
Just hit attack
Just the attack, I think.
on the weapon stat on the left.
On the left?
Yep.
Why am I not seeing attack on it?
There should be a weapon, and there should be a big red button that says attack. You might be in edit mode.
Oh, am I maybe? Yeah, I did somehow enter edit mode. There we go.
Okay. So, as you
It's
kind of raise the gun,
charged. What does the charge do?
Oh, you missed so bad.
charging is a move action, but you can do it with the Buria for
Okay.
free. It just means it's going to go through armor. You typically want to charge the Buria. It's a big laser gun,
Yeah.
or rail gun, effectively. You kind of pull the gun up as you kind of like throw the hand off of you, and you look at him, and your oxygen kind of like dropped for a second. You're kind of blurry, and you kind of look up at him and shoot, and you're pretty sure you hit him, but his head doesn't explode or anything. And what you realize is you shot the double. You didn't shoot the real one, and it just kind of flares past him.
Unfortunate.
Hatter, make a perception roll, and Rem, do you say anything over the hollow after you murder that guy with your nails?
Ooh.
I think she'd tell them that the
Whatever it is
weird
is
guy
gonna
is
be-
heading out.
Do you mention what he said about where the items were?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So Hatter, the job is in the EMT.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but
So
dealing
breaking
with
into it wasn't a bad idea.
It was the best idea. There just
Except
wasn't
it
a-
was in full view.
Yeah. If
We
you had
just
nailed the
didn't know it
pick
at
lock,
the time.
it was a DD-17. If you had nailed that, you would have been in the box, no problem. But yeah, Hatter, how would you like to
I was
proceed?
one off.
Two.
so we know it's in the van.
Yeah.
The EMT, yeah.
Yeah.
The amber lamps.
So, but what I'm gonna do, because they're already fighting, and I feel like it would be more helpful if more of us lived. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to use my little talon feet and do 2 attacks with that against this guy while he's kind of in a bad way.
Okay.
First one. Wow. Whoa. Why am I getting no bonuses for that?
you
Because
got
you
the
don't
little-
have the skill checked on the Talonfoot attack. There should be an edit option, and then you should be able to change what the attack that you use for it is. It should be melee weapon for that. Regardless,
Thank you.
7 plus
My melee weapon is 13, so 6.
20.
6 is the level. Yeah.
So that will hit him. He will take no damage because the Talonfoot will not pierce his armor.
Yeah, it's not going to. It's 1d6 each time. I'm now realizing.
It's possible. He has an 11 armor, which is half rounded down, is how we're playing it instead of rounded up. And so it's half rounded down. So he only has an armor of 5, but it has gone down as he's taken attack. Like his arm's been cut off, so it's now a 10 as he continues to take damage.
Well, let's do one more then.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, that'll do a damage. Exactly 1 damage. And it blade his armor down to 9.
Cool. If I did a damage, since I did a damage, my perk Sting Like a Bee, I get to do an extra d6 damage to him.
Roll it.
Nice.
3 more.
Perfect. Yeah, he is just now at 25 seriously injured.
Ooh, okay.
Which means he has about 50 hit points. Okay. On initiative 1, I need everyone who's outside to make perception rolls. Bunny Doll, you have advantage on this roll. That's not a thing that happens in this game. The DV is lower than that. Sorry, wow, D&D dropped in to my brain.
13.
Oof. Wow.
Cryptid.
Hey, one of us saw it.
Cryptid's the only one who notices. As the fight's going on, outside of the box on the skyline, not very far off, will be here in a round or two, you see a trauma team AV descending. Someone who probably just got murdered had platinum packet. Bunny Doll, you're
God
up.
damn it, Rem.
Okay, so
all I
we need to get to the van, get the thing, and fucking leave. Is what we need to do in the next 2 rounds.
You're catching
You
on.
just gotta stay out of their way.
So what happens when that's going on though? By the way, the ADU is it is a AD. No, it's a PDU because she's deploying it. Not important. As that's firing, you hear oh fuck, they got Jerry, and then you see running out the box, John. He's still holding 2 beers. Buddy Doll.
Proud of him.
His
I
name's
bet
John.
he's got keys.
His priorities are straight.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jerry runs out with 2 bucks. I love him. I love him so much. He's so precious.
Okay, so right now we're all busy trying to not die, but we need to collect the cyber gear, right? So
Yes.
Would be the hope.
is it safe enough for me to go inside to try to do some kind of collection?
So if you're going for the EMT, which is over here, sorry, let me move the map since Rem's not currently in the action. This is where you know the stuff to be because Rem called it out on the holo. So that's where the stuff is. You need to get into the EMT. Based on your surveil of the cab of it, you are certain that if it's in there, it is in the back.
Okay, so we need to get into their van
That's right.
and get
He should take his keys. His hands are kind of full.
Okay, so it's this guy that just came out, John.
Yep.
He has
and if you
keys.
want to roll around like behind him and like if you have pickpocket, you can attempt to pull his keyring off of his belt, or you can physically accost him and take them. Your call. But if you have pickpocket, this would be the best point for it to happen. Pickpocket is under technique. Okay. So he is very distracted, and his keyring's on a what are those things that?
Carabiner?
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Is that what it's called?
I was gonna say something kind of derogatory that lesbians typically have on their belt. Sorry.
I was gonna say the
Carabiner.
lesbian clip. Yeah,
A lesbian
carabiner.
clip. You snatch it off easily enough, and he's like running. He doesn't even notice. You've got the keys in your hand. That was your move and your action, and that's it for you. Crown. You're up.
Okay.
You would know that in the next few seconds, the priest is probably going to be coming outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rem's still in there.
Okay. Okay.
These guys are going on one. Sorry.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
2 evasion rolls from you, Rem.
Oh, yes. Let me get up my sheet.
And
2.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So his first punch, he kind of swings in, and you kind of just drop down to like almost a splits, but like with a knee up. I don't know what that's called, like a superhero move.
Superhero pose.
Yeah, superhero pose, and he kind of swings the punch over your head, and then just drops his other fist down, and you kind of just push your legs back together, and then roll backwards away from him. His fist slams into the ground, breaking the tile a bit. I'll give you 1 space of movement. Go ahead and just shift yourself in a backwards pattern, and then Crown, go ahead. You can like roll backwards to here.
Right, hold on. I'm checking something.
Oh, if you have perks, go nuts. But Crown, go ahead and take your turn.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
we have about 10 minutes or 8 minutes.
No,
we might go a little over, but yeah.
I pull out the Arasaka Masamune, and
Rifle out.
I'm gonna shoot this chick with a
Okay.
rocket.
With a grenade launcher, you mean?
No, it's a rocket. Or sorry, fuck. Yeah, grenade launcher. I miss anyway. I think I have ROF of 1, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You shot the
then-
neighbor's dog with that one.
I shot the neighbor's
This has
dog.
an underbarrel grenade launcher. Is that right?
No,
Why do you say with a rocket?
no.
You
the
shoot
chick
her. She
with
has
the
a rocket. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
I thought you
missed
said you
anyway,
were
it
shooting
doesn't matter.
her with a rocket. You shoot the lady who
No,
is
no.
able to fire rockets. Got it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Cool.
But I'm also gonna use my move action. I gotta check what my move action or what my move actually is. It's 8. Okay. So I get 8 squares, right?
8 squares.
Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 5,
You
6.
can be right next to it.
Oh, can I? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll go right there. All right. That's it.
All right. Okay, so it goes to the priests. She is going to kind of look over her shoulder. You see her kind of, fuck, and then she kind of looks at you, like annoyed, and will just run. When she does so, you see her legs kind of turn like backwards, like her knees drop backwards, and when she starts running, she's running like some sort of kind of like weird beast, and it's very fast. And she's actually booking it well across the street. If you have a perk that lets you do something in response, you can.
Oh, there's no like reactionary attack.
That's not a thing in this game.
Never mind.
Yeah, she basically just ran 8 times her speed, so she is like zoom
He's out.
gone.
He's out.
She's literally passing cars that are on the street.
That's hardcore.
Then
Impressive.
this motherfucker pops out, and his fist is coming like a rocket out the door, and he slams into the back of John, and detonates like a shot right into his back. He goes flying and slams against the van and bounces off of it and slams onto the ground. despite the trauma and the hit, he manages to keep the beers aloft. No fouls are had.
I love him.
And then the guy in the middle, like, he looks over his shoulder, sees the situation, is surrounded, and is kind of like, fuck. And then as it looks like he's about to flee, the lead priest says, "We fight, or we die." And you see him kind of walk in, and then he kind of comes around with attacks. It looks like I'm going to go ahead and kill Hatter.
Hey.
Go ahead and make an evasion roll.
Okay.
I hope you weren't attached.
19.
Surprisingly good enough to block. Or to evade. That's sad for me. He didn't get to use his combo.
Well, I'm sad the fixer didn't die on day one.
Yeah. So remember how he rushed forward, grabbed Cryptid, and put her in a choke? He can elect to put someone in a choke or elect to throw them immediately at another target. So I was going to grab you and smash you against Cryptid, but unfortunately, Rem, you are up.
Cool. I was not going to move because I have counter throw.
Oh, right. Okay. Go ahead and make martial arts.
Yep. I'm going to hopefully grab that big boy and yeet him. Yeah, my DV was 15.
Yeah.
If you succeed,
as I mentioned, he kind of slams his fist downwards, and it's like breaking into the ground, and you kind of drop back in that roll. And so you grab his wrist with your legs, and you grab his forearm with your arms, and as you're rolling back, you're throwing him. You can go ahead and either throw him into the couch, or you can throw him towards the billiards. Either way, I'm going to give you that free square I was going to give you as a part of the move.
Okay. Oh, so I can't move, like, throw him that way?
You could.
Just this way.
You could, but that would he would be basically in your way for getting out of here.
That's fair.
I was trying to avoid that, but if you
throw him into the fire.
If you do want to throw him that way, you can.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, you're not going to throw more than
I'll throw him into the couch.
Okay. Yeah, he hits the couch folds over on top of him. He seems to be kind of like lost in the couch. And like I said, you can, because of the way I described the movement, you can go ahead and move that one free square.
So I can go like there.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then counter throw, you can still move afterwards, right?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and take your move.
Yeah, because it just counts as a melee attack.
Yep, I think you can get into the door frame. So yeah, go ahead and do so. And then Jem, you're up.
So do I
get there?
Do I know that the stuff inside this guy's body over here? Oh, it's just the keys that we need.
Yeah, you just need the keys.
The stuff we need
and
is
the keys
in
are
his
currently
car.
in Bunny Doll's hands.
Okay, she already has them. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna keep attacking.
Well, she's not. I want to make sure this is clear because I think Kristen has been trying to make sure people are catching on. Bunny Doll is not very fast. So if moving and doing...
I can't get to the van in my next turn. I can't get there.
Yeah, it's going to take her about a week to get this process handled. So if you want to make it happen quick, you need to get the keys from Bunny Doll and like start lateral passing this bitch.
Yeah,
that's a
throw
football
them to
term,
me.
I think.
Probably.
If I move, does that provoke opportunity attacks?
There's no opportunity attacks in this game. That's not a thing.
Okay, sorry.
There are folks that have features like that, but yeah. If you just move like right here, you're not going to get anything from this guy because he doesn't have anything like that. Grab the keys from Bunny Doll. Don't get close to the priest that can grab you out of the air.
Yeah.
Away. And grabbing the keys is not an action. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is your speed, right?
I have 6.
Okay,
my
so
speed
6 would put you right here.
Because the green one is speed. What's the 8 on the right?
That's your luck.
Oh, okay.
And then if you want to use your action to just run, you can make it to the EMT now.
Okay, then I'll do that. I'll use my action to run and make it to the EMT.
Okay. Cryptid, you're up. And that trauma team AD that you saw is coming in hot. It'll be here at the top of the next turn.
Yeah. We definitely are not a fan of that. Would it? Yeah, it's gonna be an action to start up my van, isn't it?
Yeah, because you don't have any parts that do it quicker.
Then we're just doing that. Starting up the van.
Get in the van, start it up. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Hatter.
I'm trying to think here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do the 5. I'm gonna ask for the keys and try to do the unlock right now.
Okay.
So it's a pick lock, right? Yeah, pick. Oh God, it's such a low.
Because it's a tense situation, what I'm gonna have you do is, because you're like, give me the keys. I'm gonna have Jem do me a favor and roll me a concentration check.
Okay. What is that under?
It's under awareness.
No awareness? Okay. Oh, down right here. 14?
Success. So this could have been a situation like a horror movie where you're like, oh shit, and the keys drop out of your hand, and they're like, and then you guys are looking underneath the fucking car. But you hand them over to Hatter. It's a bit of a cluster, but he's got them. You take the key, and are you trying to get into the cab? Because to get into the back of the car, you have to be at the back of it. Are you just getting in the car with the keys?
I have one more movement.
Oh, you're gonna get in the car.
I was thinking about it and then driving.
Okay. So you get into the car. The keys allow you to open it. There's only 2 keys on the ring, and you very quickly kind of maneuver through it. You are in. You kind of jump over the console and get to the left side of the car, so you're in the driver's seat. Jem, you would see that there's an available space there.
Yeah, I would be waving you in as quick. I'd be like,
I'm gonna be more than fair, because you had extra movement left over from your run. You can go ahead and enter the car as well, and kind of like a jostling. So you get into the passenger seat as Hatter gets into the driver's seat and is like shoving the key in the ignition. You are not starting it up yet.
I haven't taken an action, so can I start it?
No, you didn't.
Oh,
opening the door would have been an action. No, that's free. You had the key. You weren't picking the lock. Absolutely. You start the car. Dope.
Okay.
Hatter, done. Initiative 1. The AV is dropping from the sky. It will be at the top of the next initiative. John,
Crown, better get to this vehicle.
John, laying on the ground, kind of like gets up and kind of like looks at the situation and just says fuck it and just runs as far as he can after getting up. And then
I respect that about him.
Bunny Doll, you're up. It looks like you could get into the vehicle, but you're standing next to Mr. Evil. So if he's going to do something, he's going to do something here. You want to run for the van and get in with Cryptid? Okay. So
yes,
I need you to make I need you to make an evasion roll. Oh, good. Okay, I got a low roll, but let's see how bad you do.
Yeah, I'm not feeling very confident about this.
Can I give her 2 luck?
Yes, you can. No, 1 luck. You can only chip in 1
luck. 1 luck. I'll give you 1.
We have a rocker. You can hold it.
Yeah, you can hold it before she.
What is evasion under?
Evasion's under fighting.
Fighting.
Come on, you got this.
Oh, I'm actually pretty good at that.
Oh! Okay. I don't think any amount of luck is saving that.
No, hold on. I have to tell you the DV at this point. So the DV is currently a 13, which means we need a total of 14 to get her out of getting grabbed by Mr. Badman.
Okay.
I'll give her a luck.
You're chipping in 1. That's 2. We're at 11. We need a total of 3 more. Who else is chipping in?
Also, we need everyone to chip in 1 and yourself.
Chip in 1.
You're spending 2, Bunny Doll? Okay, 2, 3, 4. So we are at 13. We need 1 more. And you said 1, Jen.
Me.
Got it. Nailed it. You rush away. You can hear the hand like slamming, and in an alternate universe, Bunny Doll is being accosted and dragged to her death. But not this universe. You jump into the car and you look at Cryptid like, go, fucking go. And that's the bottom of the initiative. At the top of the initiative, the AV drops out of the sky and lands directly on top of John, smashing him entirely. Sorry.
Why would you do this?
Because
poor John.
I am an asshole.
Hey, if
you would see the flaring lights hologram flare onto the ground. Caution, caution. Everyone knows that if Trauma Team sees you in those lines, they are going to murder you. The door opens. You see a chair pop out with a Tsunami Arms helix on a pintle mount, and then you hear a loud voice over the intercom say, "All individuals clear the area or be exterminated." And then you would see 3 other individuals getting out of the vehicle, moving into the caution area. That's all they're doing this turn. They are all armed with Kang Tao Dians, which are smart guns, very accurate submachine guns that can obliterate armor pretty well as well. Shit. It goes.
I would crown you have to get to one of the vehicles. I don't care which one. We can stuff you in the back.
No. You don't have to get to one of the vehicles. You could just run at this point. Like, if you want to just leave, you could just run on foot. Because that's what that lady did, and she's going to live to see another day.
Yeah. Fuck. I want to run to this vehicle. I can make it with my normal movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to leave this door open, and I'm going to shoot this guy with auto fire from the Masamune.
Okay. Go ahead and take your shot. That's dope.
20.
He is going to attempt to dodge. He rolled a 15, which means you hit by 4. So 6 times 4 is a number.
24.
Oh, okay.
He takes 24 points of damage. He is still seriously injured.
It's like 1 life.
He's like 1 life. He has exactly 2 life.
Oh my god.
Alright, and that's it. That's my turn.
Or no, he has exactly 1 life. You're exactly right. The math, 20 minus 25, and then minus. Yeah, I'm bad at math. Why do I try to do that? Yeah, and then you're inside the van. The door's open. Cryptid. The car is started. It goes to their initiative. The guy who just got shot is going to rush you, Crown, because you drew your attention to him. And he's going to attempt to do the choke thing. So go ahead and make an evasion roll. Because you're inside of the car, you're seated, you got a -2 to your roll.
Okay.
Brawling or evasion, sorry.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Would brawling have been higher than that?
No, same thing.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, he rushes his hand in, you kind of flip to the side and kind of push him away with the rifle.
Okay.
Cool. And then...
can I use payback in this instance, or no?
Yes. Go ahead and make the attack. I'm going to go ahead and do the next thing.
Ooh, okay.
He's going to dodge that.
Okay.
You folks are inside the EMT. As you kind of like sit there and the doors closed, the engine started up, you feel the whole vehicle jostle as you watch the cyber psycho Maelstrom Priest slam into the side of the EMT, and you're pretty sure he is connected to it. Rem, you are up. I didn't suppress it firing you. Go ahead and make a concentration roll.
Okay. Awareness, right?
Yep.
Yes.
You're free to act as normal.
Sick. I would like to. So the door's there, right?
Yeah.
And then let's see. So that's 2.
If you're just
And then-
running, like when you get outside, it does look like getting into any of the vehicles is going to be a tall order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll just book it like that way.
Okay. You're just getting the fuck out of Dodge. Okay.
Yeah, she'll say like ping them on the hollow. I'll catch up with you later. I'm just gonna run.
Yeah, and you know better to fuck with trauma team, so the second they look at you, you kind of just raise your hands as you're running, just like, fuck no, I'm good. Jem, you're in the passenger seat, your mantis blades are still out, so you look out the window, which is armor plated, you can't really shoot out the window, but if you want to open the door and attack out at the guy, you can do that.
Yeah.
2 mantis blade attacks. And then Cryptid,
Okay.
you're on deck, make a drive land vehicles roll.
Yep.
Okay?
Woohoo!
Nice.
Okay, so you pop out. I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to answer it honestly. Are you attacking him just for damage? Or once you pop out and see him kind of like connected to the side of the EMT, are you attacking to like just detach him from it?
Detach him from it.
Yep, so instead of attacking him, you attack the plating of the EMT and kind of cut it off where he's grabbing, and he kind of falls off and kind of like drops down onto his feet and looks at you like, ah! And then you're like, haha, bitch, slam the door closed. Cryptid, Drive land vehicles 12. You back away and kind of make it out to right about there. You're not really sure a 3-point turn would have worked there, and you aren't a very good driver based on your roll. So you kind of...
my plan was gonna go straight back and hit the guy into the EMT.
There is no way that would have been your thought in the action with that low a drive land vehicles roll.
Also, you would have gotten fucking minced by Trauma Team trying to do that.
Yeah, I
would have been outside their dots.
No, I'm sparing you the trauma. If you had rolled that bad and did what you wanted to do, what would have happened is you would have veered straight back towards where you're going, not making it or clearing it, and they told you to clear the area. They would have lit up your van because you're obstructing their path to the door. So I'm just letting you know, with that bad a roll, I'm giving you the best option. That is...
Fine.
Yeah. Also, don't ram a car that you want to operate. Pro tip.
No,
I'm gonna go back and let you do the bad thing.
No.
Kidding. I already said the good thing. Hatter, you're
I was like, she didn't get to deal with Dan on the trauma teams to see what happens if you even hit like 3 steps away from that caution line.
Fair. Exactly. Fair.
I'm gonna try to drive away.
Okay. Drive lane
There's
vehicles.
a 14.
Okay. So you see the curb, you see the situation, you very quickly pull the wheel to the left, you pop over the curb, and you manage to get out in front of Cryptid's veering car. So you're kind of here-ish. You're almost off map. Okay? On initiative 1, I have no actions. Bunny Doll, you are in a car. Is there any... Oh, sorry. Jim, you are in a car also. Bunny Doll, the door is closed on your side. Crown has the door open on his side. Are you just kind of staying in there, tucked, safe? I'm not going to try and do anything, or do you want to try something?
All my stuff is really short range, so I don't think there's anything I can do at this point.
You're safe here. It's absolutely fine. Crown, you are in the car. The door is open on the side that's pointing away from all of your enemies. But before you go, the trauma team will go. You would hear a loud roar, and then you would then see outside of the front of your car, Cryptid, the Tsunami Arms Helix unload on this guy who's already beaten and bloodied up, who's not trying to clear and get away from the area. You literally watch his body hit by hundreds of dozens of shotgun slugs in a matter of 3 seconds, and he is ripped into pieces. The other tech individuals kind of pop out, and they point their guns at the guy who's also over there, who's kind of looking at your vehicle, and then turns to look at them, and you're pretty sure that they're going to jump into a firefight and melee combat together. You don't want to stick around for it, so I'll just narratively finish and drag out the end, unless Cryptid, you're doing something crazy.
You only get paid if you live the extra. You already got the 30%, so...
Just checking with you, Lark. Do you want to drive into the guy or do something crazy? I'm just checking. If you're talking, you're muted. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be an asshole. I just need an answer. You're unmuted.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Okay, so you managed to get out and pull the car around and drive in the direction that you're going. Trauma team and them, from the distance as you're kind of pulling away, does seem to be engaging with this individual. It doesn't look good for trauma team.
Oh, shit.
That's not a good thing
I want
to
to make
hear.
sure that something is very, very clear. You did not dent that guy. I want to make sure that is very clear. And you drive off into the night. Do you have a rendezvous point you want to go to, Hatter, that you would call out over the hollow for the people to go to? Back to the docks?
Back to the docks. Just a safe, known location.
Okay. So panic driving. Eventually, there are some NCPD sirens that kind of flare up, and you would also see the telltale sign of MaxTac AV moving in that vicinity in Charter Hill. But after about 10 or so minutes, everything is very quiet and very calm, and you're on your way to the north side of the city. This happened kind of in the middle of the afternoon, and as you're kind of making your way to the docks, you finally get there around 4-5 p.m. Everyone kind of panicked, but sure of themselves, have plenty of time to deflate in the car ride. but by the time you get back to where you're going, you're able to have Crown confirm, get into, or sorry, not Crown, sorry, Gem confirm by going into the back of the EMT that not only are the 2 items that you're looking for are in there, but someone of note that you have been looking for, Gem, and also has been on your radar, Hatter, for the last couple of weeks. A body is on the EMT bed, breathing, looks like attached to some kind of devices, but you see Nitro, the missing Maelstrom ganger, laying on the EMT bed. And that's where we'll end the session for tonight. Thanks for watching those that did, and we will see you tomorrow for the 3rd part of our I'm running all week because I'm a psychopath games. Let's play games. Let's play more games. And
More game.
See you then.
Yay.